Tonight, the stars of the NASCAR Caswell Glass Company O'Reilly Series head to the Phoenix Raceway out in the deserts of Arizona. Welcome in here to the Rattlesnake 200. I am Derek Watson here live on Green Flag TV. I've got Cade Corbin next to me in a broadcast booth with Howie Burrows pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good down in the production truck. Well, Cade, here we are. The now officially rebranded O'Reilly Auto Parts Series cars, or the OOO O'Reilly cars, if you prefer it that way, out here at the Phoenix Raceway for 200 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. You know, these cars race pretty fantastically at this 1 mile oval. They get a lot of side-by-side racing. It's really easy to run multiple grooves here. You kind of want to move towards the wall as the run goes on, and just searching for grip all night long. It almost races a little bit like a dirt track, and it's a very unique challenge for these drivers.
Now, while this is our first Thursday night here broadcasting this legal on Green Flag TV, it's not our first race. We actually kicked it off Saturday night with the Daytona race, the 120-some laps at Daytona, where Zachary King came out your winner. So this is our second race of the season. We'll see our schedule here, I think, in just a moment as we're getting ready now to go racing as well. In fact, I think we're getting ready to grid as well. So let's go and take a look at tonight's starting grid, and we'll take a look at the schedule there during the pace up if you have time. So I've got River Hayes in that number 81 car up on the pole. He's got Tommy Ryan next to him in the 99 in P2. I got Aaron Baum, the former NFL kicker, back in P3. Next to P4, it's Devin Curl. Back in P5, you'll find the 88 of Colin Bollinger, and he's next to the 16 of Michael Wade. Move back to P7, you'll find Ryan Pelfrey in a 31 car, and he's next to the 3 car, now Mountain Dew car of Jeff Ryan. Then back in P9, you'll find Trevor Hunt, and then you'll find Zach Davidson, Cade.
And rolling off just behind them in row number 6, it's Sean Merriman in that Dr. Pepper machine, starting next to Gavin Hinson in car number 39. Back in row 7, Bradley Cooper rolls off next to last week's third place finisher Brandon Willard. Starting the race in the 15th spot, Morgan Cook in that number 51 Chevrolet next to Caleb Hunt's number 19 Supra. And back in P17, last week's winner, Zachary King. Very different track here today. See if he can handle it, alongside Brad Nelson in car number 33. Just behind them, rounding out the top 20, it's Adam Holston and Joshua Thornton.
Going to take over P21 here for Justin Miller in that number 95 car. He's next to the 41 of Joey Beam. Back in P23, you'll find McCoy Binky in the 98. He's next to Zach White back in P24. The 9 car of Reggie Kime is in P25 next to the 7 of Chad Allen back in P26. P27, Douglas Wysocki is in the 11 next to the 45 of Joshua Gillen. These are cars that did not take the time, by the way. 29th is Isaac Brock, and P30 is Devin Lyons. We'll come to the last cars in the field here real quick. It's the 32 car in 31st place at Kyle Hardy, not confusing at all. And next to the 79 car there, the last car on the grid. All right, well, here we are. Pace car is still going around here, Cade. Earlier, you said this is like sort of like dirt track. Let's try it again. Here's our schedule. First off, we'll come back to the track here. So we did Daytona last Saturday. We'll do Phoenix tonight, do Vegas, and then our first road course at Circuit in the Americas at COTA. So 4 races, 4 very different disciplines.
Yeah, and a lot of schedules, a lot of leagues that are getting kicked off this part of the season kind of have that similar mindset. You know, you go to Daytona, then you'll go to a shorter track, go hit an intermediate, a road course. And it's a great way to test out a lot of different skills that you got to have behind the wheel. Today, these guys are going to be testing out a little bit of short track racing, but it's just a little bit bigger than your typical short track. You can lean on somebody, but the speeds here are still pretty high, and that makes for a very unique combination.
Very unique indeed. Well, pace car is down. The longest, I would say, pace lap you have to wait to press on the lap pedal of all of NASCAR's tracks. Because you go all the way back around to the... it used to be called the new start-finish line. Now we're past that point now. Now it's just the current start-finish line. But let's get ready. Green flag is out. Let's go racing in the desert. Okay, they spread out all across the track here, but up front, still, it is River Hayes, Tommy Ryan first and second. Then behind them, it's just a real cluster of cars, 2, almost 3 wide at some points in that first lap.
Yeah, and they're still taking it all the way down to the apron. Look at that, one car going around near overcorrection back into the field, but a fantastic save. That is car number 59. I believe going to slip back quite a few positions, but holding fast back up front. Now it's the top 4 are single file as Aaron Baum tucks into line. And everybody right now looking to wrap the bottom down here in turns 3 and 4. Battle for the lead heating up, though, less than a car length between the top 2.
I think that really did point out, by the way, and you can talk about it later, Cade, that the danger that is the dog leg, right? A lot of drivers love to cut it. They love to get down there and flirt with it, but it can get wild. Now, speaking of wild, was that wiggle you just saw to River Hayes. So that car looks out of shape already.
Yeah, Hayes, I think, got on the throttle just a little bit too much, and you saw Ryan try to look to the outside, get some momentum through the middle. Didn't quite work out for him that time, but if he can stay close, keep applying pressure. Now it's Ryan, the one who makes the mistake, and he's going to lose about 0.2 of a second off the corner. Still holding strong in second, though, with a good gap back to third.
Happy you're along with us, lap 4 of 200 here at Phoenix for the Rattlesnake 200. And now you're looking on from the front of the car, of the third place car. That is Devin Curl in the 15 car. You're looking on board. Now we're looking up top for that Yahoo car. That very classic, iconic purple from the Yahoo logo.
What he did right there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was going to say, what he did right there is he actually got a lane off the bottom. I think that's going to be something we'll be talking about all night long, is how multi-groove this track is. You can see not everybody is going and sitting in a single file line. You got cars in the middle, car on the bottom, and already there, lap 5, somebody was willing to move up to the middle on this other end of the track as we take a look at the first side-by-side battle. Just looking for some clean air, some momentum, something to get the car to rotate appropriately. It's going to be a battle all night long. As we see here, still cutting the dog leg, Zachary King all the way to the bottom, trying to work his way up, already plus a number of positions since the top of this race, trying to get 11th from Hinson. For the moment, he has it, but right here, you're going to see that top lane come in, and the 39 is going to be able to do a better job of getting the power down. Nearly contact there, but for the moment, keeping it straight.
You know, Kate, I love these webcam shots. I think you can tell so much about how a driver's night is going based on the webcam. So many factors you can see right there. The mood on the face looks pretty calm, but look at the grip on that wheel. That grip is pretty tight. That tells me that car must be a lot to handle.
I'd imagine it is, and it's a pretty hot midsummer day, or not midsummer, I should say, but midday out in Phoenix right there. Smacks the wall. That is Zach Davidson, but keeps it in a straight line. That's a little bit of a moment there for Zachary King, seeing that smoke in front of him. Now he's going to go to the high line as he comes under fire from Jeff Ryan. But yeah, you can tell body language is so much. He's up on that wheel. He's concentrated. I don't think he blinked once the entire time we had that webcam on him. So that shows you just how much focus. Now he tries to rip the top, overstep that cushion just a little bit and tap the wall with the right rear. But he gets a big run down the straightaway, pulls to the inside of Davidson, looking for 11th into turn number 3, still side by side.
Great run so far by all drivers, and we're seeing some people already hitting the wall there early, though, Kate. Let's watch back here, and speaking of that, let's watch a driver who we think may have lost the car in the back of the field. This is going to be the 24 of Devin Lyons, and I think he's got some big damage. This is not necessarily where he hit the wall, but I suspect we're seeing oh, there it is. Never mind. Just right there by himself on the start-finish line, and not having a good night.
And I think we're going to see mistakes similar to that all night long. It's going to be really, really hard to keep these cars under you. These tires are pretty thin. They don't have a lot of grip. These engines have a pretty good amount of horsepower relative to the amount of grip that the car produces. So they are, as we've said a number of times already, a lot to handle. And we're seeing exactly that with Lyons, unfortunately, going to knock him all the way to the bottom of the grid just 10 laps into this one.
Now, good news for Lyons. These laps happen fast. Remember, lap 45 is the end of our first stage, and we get to the end of that lap. So if you're Devin Lyons right now, you're probably just holding on right now, hoping that you can get this thing kind of wheeled around and limped around until you get back on pit road and diagnose it, I would think.
Well, I think he's already pulled that car down pit road, so going to assess the damage, see if he can't get back in this one and run it out to the end. Meanwhile, back up front, these top 3 all over each other. River Hayes led every lap since the drop of the green, but the entire time, Tommy Ryan has been breathing down the neck of that Toyota Supra. Right there, a little bit of a look to the outside, keeping that car off the apron. It can actually keep a little bit of life in the Goodyear tires. If you don't cut a bunch of that dog leg off, it keeps the tires just a little bit cooler and can give you a little bit more grip on the long run. Already 12 laps into this one, the field's getting spaced out a little bit. Guys are thinking about the long term.
With the long term indeed, this good run has gone on now for almost 13 laps we have going in this race. A couple wall hits, a couple bruised cars, but everything's pretty chill so far here at Phoenix. Of course, the Phoenix Raceway, a track that's, I guess, known for change, right? It's been called the ISM Speedway. The front straight was the back straight. The back straight was the front straight. We've changed a couple of things around. We've now put in a cactus instead of a timing tower. Lots of changes, I'd say, in the last 10 years or so for this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day when there was still grass filling that dog leg, and there was no way for drivers to run down there as part of the racing surface. But it's made for a very unique moment, as right there, the dog leg almost allows us to go 3 wide. Yes, we were 3 wide just for a moment. Morgan Cook put that car in the middle, now sneaking to the bottom of Michael Wade. He's going to clear car number 16 off the corner. The big winner from that was Sean Merriman, who was able to sneak out front. Nearly contact from Wade to the bumper of the 51. Had to jump on the brakes late a little bit. Now he's under fire from Hinson, and you can see another shot of Michael Wade there. Looks like the man in darkness. All you can really see is the neon green shirt and the very red face, red with concentration at this moment. He's got a car to his inside, trying to work the middle right now of turn 2. Very close there, coming off the corner. Yep, smacks the wall, does Wade, and unfortunately, he may give up another position.
So talk to me about that. This, I'd say, the 4th or 5th driver we've seen this touch the wall in some form, either lightly or not lightly. What's that going to do to these cars as the night runs on with all these wall taps?
Well, these composite bodies that the O'Reilly series has had for a while, they're pretty tough. They're not going to get bent out of shape. You don't really notice a lot of time loss with a small amount of aero damage, but if you do hit the wall enough, it'll start to beat up that right rear quarter panel, which is responsible for a lot of the production of side force on this car, and it will make it handle more difficulty. You've got to work the wheel more to get that car to turn, means you're going to burn your tires up more. If you damage the suspension, that's going to be a difficult factor. So most of these drivers can get away with 1 or 2 wall hits. The 0x.
Caution.
Oh, yellow is out.
Caution is out. Let's wait and find out why in just a moment here on your screen. But caution is out, and I'm going to guess it's going to be Chad Allen involved in the wreck here, based on the way he's falling down the tower, and that hood is falling on his windshield. Let's take a look, see what's going to happen to the 7 car here. Watch the very back. Oh, it's up ahead. It's that 45 that got spun around, and then a car comes down.
Oh.
And, hold on. Wow, Devin Lyons came flying on through. Caution's out, guys. Oh, caution's
that wreck
out
took a long time to happen.
Watch this again. Does the 45 get help here? Gets out of the corner. Oh, got tagged by the 41. And poor 41. That's where the 7 got the damage with the hood. And then drivers just kept piling in, Cade.
Yeah, that was the 41 car of Joey Beam, the 45 of Joshua Gillen. Unfortunately, looked like kind of an innocent bystander there. Right here, though, 17 green flag laps on those tires. You're going to see just about the entire field come in to get their first of 6 additional sets that they have for this series. Interesting
number, though. That kind of puts you a little bit behind on the math, by the way. I just want to point that out. And so this could be a little, these guys may find themselves without a set at the end. We'll wait and see how the race goes on. But pit stops happening. You see the timers on the right side of your screen of the people on pit road and how long those pit stops are happening. You see a lot of very quick stops here. Let's see if those are going to eventually climb up in time. I think they are. So yeah, I'd suspect probably 4 tires and gas for most of these cars, if not all these cars on pit road. So, Kate, interesting you mentioned the pit stops here because not everyone pit. River Hayes, Tommy Ryan, Ryan Peffer, your top 3. I think it goes down to P15 or so. I think Devin Curl and P16 is the first car that came down pit road. So you're going to have 15 cars that did not pit.
Yeah, I saw Curl and Davidson ducking down, and I kind of figured they would take more of the field with them. Those guys have been really good all day. They've been running up towards the front, decided to drop down, take 4 tires, and that's kind of what I would do. I mean, we talk about 6 sets right here. You're probably not going to take 1 set every 20 laps, so you would still be able to get away with pitting here and having enough tires to make it to the end of the race if you stretch it later in the event. But for the moment, we did see a split decision. It's going to be really interesting. I think everybody's going to be keeping an eye on that 15 car. If he can come through the field, that's going to indicate to everybody out on track that the new tires are worth a lot. And if you get another opportunity to take them after 15 or 20 laps, you're going to want to duck down pit road.
Well, so talk to me about both points of view. Let's start from the leaders. As the pace car is going to pull down here, would you rather be the car without tires up front, or are you happier being the car in P16 with tires?
I think you want to be the first one on your strategy. A little bit of a cop-out answer, but River Hayes right now has himself in a really good position because he is leading his strategy. Curl is in a good spot as well because he is leading his strategy. Everybody else who's somewhere in the middle right now is a little bit behind the 8 ball. It's going to be really tough for the cars in the middle of the field. Those are where I do not want to be, as we are back under green. Great jump from River Hayes, already 2 car lengths of the rest of the field. Fans out through the dog leg, racing once again in Phoenix.
Big move by River Hayes. Big jump out there over top of Peffrey, Ryan, Merriman, and others here. But look at this big conglomerate. I thought I saw them 3, almost 4 wide back there through turns 1 and 2, and now they're starting to single it back out. But interesting you just mentioned that leader got a great jump, so he's doing good. But a car to keep an eye on is P9, Devin Curl, a car that went from about P15, P16 in the restart here. And that's going to be the 15 car of Devin Curl. We're going to watch how those tires react. That may affect how the rest of the drivers choose their strategy the rest of the race.
Taps the wall just a little bit there, but he's already taking the 6th spot, so a ton of grip. Not to discount the driving that Curl has done, but a lot of this additional speed is due to the fresh rubber, and so everybody else is going to be looking at it and saying, hey, if we get another 20-lap green flag run, you're definitely going to want to consider putting on tires. I will say this, I like the top 4 or 5, really the entire top 10. They're not in a horrible position because they did not get themselves caught up in what could have been a big restart mess. You see cars go 3 or 4 wide through that dog leg. That's not something you want to be in the middle of. So staying out does get you the track position to avoid that. But I'd imagine as this run goes on, that grip is going to go away, having more than 20 laps on your tires to start out with. A little bit of contact in the back, but we are going to stay green.
Yeah, we are green indeed around this track. You see now to 2 wide, a couple of different lanes here. Some more wall contact, some more car contact. That's the 54. He almost came down and made contact for a moment there. They're 3 wide now, and they're going to work that out. But at 39, also, I believe, on new tires. And look at that power. That's Gavin Henson and his new tires, able just to bully his way in the bottom of 3 wide.
Yeah, but you can see Henson and Curl are really the only 2 that have made up a lot of good track position. Colin Bollinger on fresh tires, he's all the way back in P13 and already seeing some good green flag action on that rubber. Is going to lose grip for him. Right here, pinned on the bottom, riding along with Devin Curl, going to take away the 3rd spot pretty easily. Use the dog leg to draw right up to the bumper of Ryan Pelfrey. Ooh.
I heard someone hit the fence a second ago. I heard it somewhere in the back, and it might have been Morgan Cook, I'm being told. It may have been damaged in this caution. Let's find out and see what's going to happen. Watch Cook here. Watch the 51's going to... No. Not yet. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there's the
bump up in the wall. And Morgan Cook's up. Oh, this is going to get gross. And Morgan Cook, oh, look at that. That dark smoke, that is not good. That is likely an expired motor. And the end of the day, for a driver who led a bunch of laps last week at Daytona and Morgan Cook.
Yeah, Morgan Cook had a really good race 1, but unfortunately here, big contact fighting for the 15th position. That's going to be, I don't know if that damage is going to be fixable. If it is, it's going to take quite a while. Let's ride along with Thornton here. You're going to see kind of gets bodied coming off the corner. A little bit of wall contact for the number 25. Tucks in, and that definitely didn't look intentional, but he did not drive into that corner with a whole lot of caution.
I'm not sure he anticipated Cook moving up, to be honest with you, and just kind of, I think, got surprised. But yep, that's the cause of the second caution of this evening. Now working lap 27 here of 200 at Phoenix.
Something to keep in mind is we do have our first stage going to end at lap 45. So as you're talking about tires, you definitely don't want to pit every 20 laps. With those 6 sets, you'd only be able to get to about lap 140 on tires. But if you can stay out here and make it to the end of the stage, that might be a strategy to save yourself a set of tires, knowing that yellow flag is coming. Meanwhile, everybody else who put on tires on our previous caution, they're definitely going to want to stay out. We are seeing some takers, though.
Yep. Brad Nelson, Brandon Willard, Adam Holston, Zach Davidson all down pit road. Bradley Cooper. No, not that Bradley Cooper. Isaac Brock and more all down pit road here. So River Hayes came down pit road, by the way. River Hayes gave up the lead. He's now back in P13, according to my timing and scoring. So that'll move Ryan Peffrey up top. And was it Peffrey, Curl, and Ryan, your top 3?
And we've basically got 3 strategies going on. Going to be very interesting to keep track of how that all shakes out. A couple of those cars you see with longer pit stops on the right side, still fixing damage from previous incidents. Most of them should be able to stay on the lead lap as the field, I believe, taking 1 to go with the choose cone that is implemented here. Not officially an iRacing rule, but something that is put into place by the league. To give these guys a little bit of choices up front, Ryan Pelfrey has chosen the bottom. Devin Curl has chosen the outside, so he wants to be on the front row. And with those fresh rear tires, I think it's going to be really easy for that 15 to roll through the restart zone, stick right with Pelfrey, and try to take the lead soon.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think Devin Curl is stoked. If I was Devin Curl and I had new tires, I'd want to be in the top lane here at Phoenix. So let's see how this works out. Our 3rd restart of the evening. We know even if nothing else happens, our next caution for stage break will be the end of lap 45. So let's get ready. Let's get buckled in. Let's get ready for about 15 laps of good, solid racing. It's Pelfrey, it's Curl, it's Ryan, and Merriman, the top 4. And right now, it's back to green flag racing at Phoenix. One big jump for the bottom here. A nice, beautiful jump for Ryan Pelfrey here. Oh, look at that. 3-4 wide instantly. And I'm being told there may have been some penalties. Let me confirm that. That's the choose cone. Okay, sorry. That's going to be choose cone black flags. I got caught up for a second. Okay, but yeah, that's all normal.
Yeah, and it looks like everybody's got that cleared. 3 wide, back now for the 7th position. That's Hinson on fresh tires. Very fresh tires for River Hayes trying to work his way through. And look at that, fanning out. Nearly hitting that wall to the inside. That's that black machine. That is River Hayes, cutting off as much distance as possible. He's trying to get to the front to get himself some stage points. Already in position to collect at least a couple, but he's got another 14 laps to make his way up to the front. Meanwhile, Evan Curl has lost a position, actually now back to the 3rd spot, as we are keeping an eye on this side-by-side battle. This for P7. About to be 3 wide battle, sorry.
No, that's okay. You're exactly right. That's where I was headed, 3 wide. And we're kind of watching Caleb Hunt in their journey here through the field. But, oh, hold on. Yellow again. And back the field, I do believe. Caution once again. Number 7, Chad Allen. Well, let's wait.
Isaac Brock in the 21 with the meatball flag as well.
Yep, let's watch. This should be in the turns 1 and 2 here. Oh, my God. We'll need to back that up to see what happened, but that was a violent collision up into the turn 2 wall. Here they come down. Here's the 7 on the bottom. And, oh, hello, wall. Oh, the 21 just came down. I'm not sure the 21 thought he was clear or what happened there, but the 21 just came down and clobbered the 7, and away they went.
It looked to me almost like Brock, I don't know, some sort of, it could have been some sort of mechanical or a hardware issue. The way that he's looking at it there, it looks to me like something went wrong. I mean, obviously something did not go right, but the way that car just hangs a sharp left, maybe he thought, I think he thinks the 7 of Jeff Allen is going to be running the apron and just didn't know that he was there.
Is that a frozen? I'm thinking that's a hardware thing, and I'll tell you why in a second. If we go back to that webcam for a second, is that webcam frozen? I saw no movement in that webcam. I think that might be a technical problem.
He's blinking.
Is he blinking? Okay. No, he's moving.
We got signs of life.
Oh, sign. You're right. I thought maybe the whole computer had frozen and he had just kind of, like, you know, the frozen webcam was my proof. But no, he's alive. It's alive. So we'll see if we can get a word from Isaac Brock what may have happened. Hi, Isaac. Now he's staring at us. It's not creepy at all.
There was another car that was involved in that wreck just a little bit. I didn't exactly catch who it was, but free pass right there. That's going to put, I believe, the 25 of Thornton back on the lead lap.
I believe that'd be correct as well. Wow. So people pitted again here, by the way. I do want to point that out. And people toward Chad Allen, Isaac Brock is on pit road. Jeff Ryan came down pit road. So now I think I have this is gonna get difficult. I need like a flow chart, a spreadsheet, maybe an SQL database to keep up here. We're now on, I believe, 4 different pit strategies in the first 37 laps.
Well, you can break it down and make it pretty simple here, Derek. You're looking over there at that timing tower. The lower the number, the better. If you're on 2-lap-old tires, you've got the best rubber in the field. You're going to be able to drive to the front. If you're the leader right now, Ryan Pelfrey has not pitted at all. I would expect him to get run over by a bunch of the field because his number is higher than everybody else's. The trade-off that you've got to think about, and we talk about those number of tire sets, a couple of guys have already pit twice. They are only going to have 4 sets of tires to get through the second stage and the final stage, which is 110 laps. So really the biggest thing to pay attention to right now, lower number, car go faster, higher number, car go slower. And the leader right now is the highest number out of everybody.
Yeah, Ryan Pelfrey has not pitted. He's going to take the green flag here out of turn number 4. Devin Curl up top again gets a better jump, but not perfect. And they're back side by side, 3, almost 4 wide to dogleg.
Still 3 wide for the 3rd position. River Hayes trying to come to the front on some of the freshest tires in the field. Easily wraps the bottom, going to come off the corner side by side with Ryan. Ryan doing a great job holding on with those older tires. Now Ryan actually has a look for the 2nd position. Had taken it from Curl on the previous green flag run, but now Curl has grabbed the lead once again, or grabbed 2nd once again, looking for the lead from car number 31.
By the way, of note, that car back in P4, that's River Hayes. That's the car that led now up to P3 for a long time, has worked their way back to the front here after pitting on lap 20. Remember, we're racing to the end of lap 45 because at that point, that's when the stage will end as we get close to making contact, but we're good through turns 1 and 2. We'll stay green. They'll be almost 3 wide down to the dogleg once again.
They are definitely going to be 3 wide. Hayes trying to make it work on the bottom, gets clear of Pelfrey, but not quite clear of Ryan as there's contact. And now moving into the battle is Gavin Hinson. Big run off the top side, though, for Ryan. Ryan going to possibly have the opportunity to look to the bottom. Decides not to take it. Now it's Devin Curl way out in front, and River Hayes sitting very solidly in the 2nd position. Less than a car length here, 7 to go to the stage, and they are side by side for the race lead.
It certainly does look like tires have paid off, hasn't it? It looks like tires are paying off big here in this moment because now the drivers who have tires, 1st and 2nd have pitted, 3rd and Tommy Ryan has not, Hinson in 4th has, Ryan Pelfrey in 5th has not. So by, I guess, a margin of 3-2 as far as the cars are concerned up front, the tires are paying off. And right now we come past the start-finish line yet again. We'll start lap number 40. Now only, I believe, 5 laps to go in this stage.
Something that these guys are going to have a look at, though, is whether or not these tires plateau. They could hit a point at about 20 or 25 laps where there's not much of an advantage to having better tires. Right here, though, it seems like still an advantage for Hayes. He's got the left rear quarter panel of Curl, going to throw it down into turn number 3. He's able to hold the bottom. If he can get the power down, they're going to be side by side at the line. Yes, they can, and Hayes is going to look to cut off the entire dog leg. He's going to stay on the door of the 15, but not clear. Now Hayes trying to use the momentum on the high side, going to get a good run off corner exit if he can stay nose to nose with the 81, and they are door to door, coming to 4 laps to go in the first stage.
And I think that dogleg the last time what happened, you saw Hayes kind of wiggle the car down there a little bit, and that's what stopped him from making the complete passes. He's now done here on Devin Curl, and they'll be side by side. But Hayes has the better run, has a shorter line, should come up clear and be able to get back to the lead where they once were. Now beginning to work, I'd say the middle of lap 43 should come on around here, about 2.5 laps to go before the yellow comes out. We saw another wiggle from the 81, so you can tell these cars are loose here at this racetrack.
And Hayes is trying. Something to note, that pavement that's down there in the dog leg, it's not smooth like the rest of the track. It is incredibly rough, incredibly bumpy. You can see everybody bouncing around. This now is the closest battle on track. Three-way battle for third. Ryan hasn't. Bollinger and Hinson both won it. And both of them, all three of these cars, pretty even on grip. Coming around down the back straightaway. Good run off the outside for Gavin Hinson. For the moment, Ryan is clear, and he's hopefully going to be able to check out from these guys and not have to battle back to the stage end here. Pits are closed, and this a little bit farther back is a nearly four wide battle being led by that's Aaron Baum in P8.
Yeah, Aaron Baum's having a good job there in that white and blue car, leading a 4-car pack around, and Baum's kind of stuck in the middle, trying not to be involved in a wreck. Up front, here's the 88 car. They're involved in a side-by-side battle, so that's also another great battle that's happening across the track. Here we come. White flag for this stage is up in the air. We're on lap 45, and it looks like River Hayes will walk away and earn the stage points here in stage 1 in the desert of Arizona.
Yeah, but all these other positions are up for grabs. If you make a small mistake here, you could fall from 4th or 5th outside of the top 10, and that loses you 6 or 7 precious points. Right now, that's going to be Tommy Ryan holding on to the 4th position. One last chance for Gavin Hinson to get that spot, but it's River Hayes taking the green and white checkered flag to end the stage. The rest of the top 10 will come across the line, and for the 4th time today, the caution is out, this time for the end of stage number 1.
Yeah, this one is planned, and here we go. Here's your results after the stage break. So River Hayes, Devin Curl, Bollinger, Tommy Ryan, Gavin Hinson, your top 5. Holston, Pelfrey, Wade, Baum, and Cooper all getting those stage points. Well, Cade, here we are now. I mean, still only 45, but we're about 25% way done with this race. What has stood out to you so far? What do you see in these cars, these drivers that may surprise you?
Well, one thing that I've been paying attention to right since the beginning of the race was how the cars move around different lines. I really thought that everybody was going to want to stick right around the yellow line for the duration of at least the first 10 or 15 laps on a set of tires, but that has not been the case. Instead, everybody's been pretty eager to migrate to the second groove or even up to the wall, running that groove, as we're going to see a lot of people come in. This was the second takeaway from that first stint there. Everybody is going to want fresh tires for what could be another 45-lap run.
Yeah, they're hoping so, and I do believe it's literally the whole field from what I can see up and down the timing tower, the whole field down that long crawling pit road speed, the big winding pit road, probably one of the more difficult pit roads in all of NASCAR to keep your speed on because of how this thing winds around, and you want to sort of get around there fast. Here's watch our leader hit the pit road. There's some cars I believe are all lapped down. They'll pit next time by. None of them stayed out that I can tell, so maybe one did. We'll see about that in a second. But here's your race off of pit road in just a second. Who's it going to be first? I bet it's not a surprise, but wait, there it is. Yep. It's River Hayes. I see Joshua Gillen did stay out this first time by. 13 laps into a stint. So let's see if he comes down this time. Answer is no. He wants to see about getting those points for leading a lap or just get the air time or just maybe see if he can do something up front, and say, oh, that's important, Kate, and talk to us as a driver about that. Like, it is so much different how you can drive or how successful you feel when you're up front versus when you're marred in that pack and that calamity of, say, if you're P15, P20 or so.
Well, it changes the way that you're able to drive, and it's honestly a lot better to drive up front. When you're in first or second or third, you can focus purely on making lap time, right? You can go into the corner, and if I want to say, back up my entry by 100 yards or 50 yards or something like that to kind of coast to the corner, save some tires. If you're in a position where you need to save fuel, you can do that, right? When you're back there in the middle of the pack, you're yanking the wheel to stay away from the guy ahead of you. You're trying to get a good run off to pass somebody. Maybe you're middle of 3 wide. Maybe you have to run the dog leg and, risk going through the bumps and having to catch your car that way. So you can be so much more cautious. Looks like that 45 machine did decide to pull down pit road. Some damage early for that car. So I think he was just getting that damage fixed. And it looks like he has just blinked out of existence, actually.
Well, let's
reset. Hand the lead back to River Hayes.
It is indeed. Real quick here. Here's how it runs in your top 5. Hayes, Bollinger, Ryan, Devin, Carl, and Adam Holston, who we saw have success last week at Daytona, in your top 5. They'll come on here out of turn number 4. And I believe with a little bit of connection problems from our leader, that's going to put the control car as Bollinger, and the green flag's out. And we'll watch the black flags. Everyone's good. And that's going to get to River Hayes. An incredible jump on the outside as they're now 3 wide for P2.
And that was a huge move to the bottom. Great launch from Tommy Ryan to go from 3rd up to 2nd. He's going to slide in front of Bollinger. Bollinger now down 2 positions in just 2 corners. Doesn't mean he's out of it. Big slide there in the back. I believe that was Holston. But able to hold on to that car now side by side. For 2nd, and going around, that is Ryan Pelfrey, loses it in the dogleg. It's a single car spin. If he can get it locked down, we might stay green. Still racing for the moment, and he's out of the racing line.
Boy, for Pelfrey, that's the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, and it just went from leading this race about 10 laps ago to now well behind it. And I think that's just going to be a bad transition to the dogleg when we see the replay, Kayla, or Cade Corbin, that's your name.
Hey.
So I'll get there. It's all synonyms. I'll get there eventually. No, I think it's going to be a bad transition down to the dogleg. I think it's going to be a bad weight transfer. Watch this replay here. And let's see what's going to happen to the 31s up there. And this gets a wall in the way. And, well, the build. We'll rack it up. We'll get a different view here, that same from a different camera angle. Let's watch this one here. See what happens at 31, but I think you're going to see here. No, not even the transition. Just we got the gas a little too soon.
Yeah, that's something that's super easy to do. We talk about the power to grip ratio of these O'Reilly Auto Parts Series car. He's going to throw it into the corner to try to get on the outside of the 39. And before he even entered the corner, he's thinking, hey, I got to make this pass. Yep. I want to get a run. And he's just way too eager to get back in the throttle. I do want to shout out the helmet, though. I saw that in the mirror for Ryan Pelfrey Maverick from Top Gun. Looks fantastic. Hopefully he'll be able to come back from now 25th position. Still on the lead lap, so if he catches a caution, put some fresh tires on and get right back in this one. But back up front, battle for the lead still ongoing. 4 cars under a blanket.
Tommy Ryan still all over the back end of River Hayes. Sounds like we've said that before already tonight. There's Devin Curl back in 3rd with Bollinger and Henson in your top 5 here. So I want to say again, we're happy along for the ride now, working lap 54. Our next stage break, Cade, is the end of lap 90. So a little bit to go here if we can keep it green. And if we do keep it green, I think that would normalize all of the tire sets that we were talking about doing mathematicals earlier on.
Yeah, you should be able to just about get to the end of the run. I think at most there may be 1 or 2 drivers that have already burned through 3 sets. But I think everybody has only used 1 or 2. We saw just about the entire field pit on the stage yellow, and we saw most of the field pit under 1 of the 3 yellows during that first stage. So everybody should have at least 3 sets left in the pits. If you can get all the way to lap 90, that'll leave you with 2 for the final run to the end, which should be plenty. But they're burning them up right now, so if we get another yellow within this second stage, that'll put everybody in a very tight position. Now looking for the battle for 8th, sending to the bottom for Nelson, and that one did not stick big. Run off the outside for Aaron Baum as he's looking down the bumper of Zachary King.
I tell you what, I was only a C student in math in school, but I've run the numbers a couple times. I counted my fingers, took off my socks, counted the toes. I think if we just do the simple math, 7 sets of tires, 200 laps, you can pit once every about 29 laps and be good all the way, assuming no overtime. So by pitting twice in the first 45, again, those drivers for the moment have put themselves behind the clock.
I do think we're starting to get a longer run, though. You know, that first stage is always a little bit shaky. Everybody's still trying to feel out exactly where they can push the car, exactly what the car is going to feel like. But now that we've gotten in the second stage, it's been at least 10 green flag laps since the restart. So everybody knows that what they can get away with. Everybody kind of gets in a mindset, hey, let's go turn some laps. You know, we don't need to come out here in eye pace. There will be go time at the end of that third stage, but for now, let's run some laps, let's find some track position, you know, play some strategy. Right now, Hayes and Ryan doing battle, but they're doing so, you know, maybe only 90%. They're putting it on the line, but it's not all the way on the line. Right there, you know, Baum had a moment. He could have gassed it up and tried to get to the inside, but he's thinking, hey, you know, this is lap 19 of a 45-lap run. Let's just keep it good. Let's get to the end of this stage, and yeah, once we do that, we should be good on tires. So Everybody, I think, just a hair conservative right now, and that is going to get us to the end of stage 2. No guarantees, of course, but that's what it's looking at in this stage of the race.
Devin Curl in the Yahoo purple right here, right in back in P3. You got Tommy Ryan and River Hayes up front. And, I saw that Yahoo card and I thought to myself, does anyone still Yahoo anything? Like, I mean, granted, we use it for fantasy sports, but boy, I don't know the last time I've searched anything on Yahoo.
I think the last time I've had to use Yahoo was when it keeps forcing itself to be my default browser. Every time I accidentally click on Edge, it takes me to Yahoo, and it's, I won't say anything negative about it because they brought such a fantastic paint scheme here to this car, but I'm pretty rapidly clicking over to Chrome whenever that does happen. This battle not going away, though. This is Bomb King, Nelson. There's another hungry 3 cars behind them ready to pounce if they make a mistake. Sending it to the bottom is car number 33. And he's going to slip up a little bit on exit and open the door for Bradley Cooper to sneak into this battle. This at the back end of the top 10.
Yep. So, by the way, that's the Aaron Baum in a 2 car. That's the white and blue. Zach King, last week's winner, is in the, I guess you want to call it the white and the brown, the white and the, we'll call it brown, the brick color maybe car on the back. And then on back behind that is Brad Nelson, who's now on the inside in that white and red. And then there's Bradley Cooper with the big V, the black and red, up on that car as well. So lots going on here tonight. Lots of battle. Remember, this is the battle for about P9 on back, by the way. So these guys are fighting for every spot as you're watching on board with Zach King here. And I see how much that wheel is turning there. Look at that. How much rotation there is in that wheel through the corners.
Looking at his body language, though, he looks a little bit more relaxed than he did at the beginning of the race. Right now, side by side with Nelson, he's certainly tensed up a little bit, but he seems to have settled in, getting a good run. Obviously competitive last week at Daytona, winning that race. Very different style of racing here tonight, but trying to get back-to-back good results, possibly wins, but consecutive top 5s not out of the question for King. And as he gets the power down off the high side, he's trying to run away from this cluster of cars because that's a mess. Look at that. That is Cooper slamming the door on Thornton. Thornton not going to be happy with that. Sorry, that was Trevor Hunt that slammed the door, and that up in the bottom for Thornton. He's going to elect to run the dog leg here, try to cut off some distance, and see if he can't clear that 59 car.
So as we're now into this run a little bit here, we're about, I'd say, coming on, 17, 18 laps in a run. We saw a bump right there from the back end of where we are. We're right over with Thornton. That would have been Brad Nelson. Oh, my God.
Oh, big contact. And into the inside wall is Thornton.
Wow. And got a nice door, nice body check in hockey, a nice hip check, if you will. Watch this here. What's going to happen in a replay? Coming out of the corner, that car up top. Who comes up? Who comes down? Oh, the car up top comes down. Oh, boy. That's a 2-minute hip check in Olympic hockey is what that is.
And yeah, I think, unfortunately, Trevor Hunt just put the power down a little bit too hard, got that car loose, the nose kicked back to the inside, and Thornton didn't give him a whole lot of room to work with. Thornton was ready to use up the 59, and unfortunately, Hunt was coming off the wall, contact happens, and it is much, much worse for Thornton than it is for Trevor Hunt. This up here, battle for P3 for the moment, give it to Bollinger. I think Curl was kind of the best driver of that first stage. Although he didn't win the stage, didn't lead the most laps, looked very, very competitive. Now able to hang on momentarily, keeping P3 as we complete lap 67.
Coming on around the track here, and then we're looking on back here from the front. That's River Hayes. Has been dominant most of the night as far as leading laps. They're about to, I think, for the first time, and I can recall on track, Kate, they're about to reach their first bit of lap traffic. We'll see how that goes and how the field navigates that here. We're now working at lap 68 and coming on around here and see how close they get to that yellow line. And, oftentimes we talk about ovals being different in the corners, right? And how it, the joke is it's just one big circle, but a lot of tracks have different corners. But boy, Phoenix in and of itself, 1 and 2 are drastically different from 3 and 4.
Absolutely. I mean, turns 1 and 2, with the start-finish line where it is now, are very long, very flat, slow corners, which is what makes them so multi-groove. You can put the car in the middle, you're cutting off some distance, but you're getting some momentum. You can run the wall, you can run the bottom. You can even drop down to the apron if you're Corey Heim and a championship is on the line. 3 and 4, a little bit of a tighter corner. There's more banking, so you want to carry more speed. You kind of got to throw the car into the corner. but you can't get to the bottom too soon. As we're going to see, that is exactly what the 54 machine did. Got to the bottom, touched the apron, and then came up and touched the left rear quarter panel of, I think that is Thornton, who has recovered and is still running in just outside the top 20 and fighting for his life.
And I'm surprised. I have to say, no disrespect to Joshua Thornton, but I thought based on how hard that car hit that inside wall, I thought that car was probably terminally done. If not, was at least going to limp it around and have that in that moment. So coming around here to work yet another lap. Remember, stage ends at the end of lap 90 here, Cade. And again, we've been green ever since that stage, as we just saw that car up in the wall. And we've seen that car, that's the second time, I think, in this stage. The 31's had some kind of problems.
Yeah, the 31 super, he had that spin, actually, at the beginning of the stage. Remember, was all the way up in the 6th position. Now firing it off to the bottom of Joshua Thornton. That right there is where the damage has really been done to that 25. I bet you the left front toe has got to be knocked out on that car. Makes it really difficult to handle in the corners, as he's going to lose 2 more spots, drop him back to the 24th position. This right here, a little back up towards the front, battle for 8th. Zachary King, Bradley Cooper going at it. Cooper great as Rocket Raccoon and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now great on the bottom, running the dog leg. 3 wide behind him with a lap car, and give that spot to Cooper up to 8th for car number 27.
A great job here. Look at Zach King coming on through, trying to power his way through the bottom of this track here. And that's something that would become, I think, harder to do as this run goes on and those tires do wear off. And you mentioned earlier you were kind of surprised, as am I, by the way, about how multi-groove this track is. It's not a track that I think we often discuss being multi-groove, but if we had the ability, which I'm sadly we don't, to like draw lines across all the past drivers have taken through this track. Like, we've been middle, we've been top, we've been bottom, we've been every which way around this track so far at Phoenix.
If you were going to do that, Derek, you'd just be coloring in the track. It would just turn into a coloring page. There is no way to sketch each individual line. We're going to see right here, even this is down in the 3 and 4, which is the more limited end of the track. Can't really run the fence down here, but that's the 33 of Nelson. He runs a couple of lanes off the bottom, just in front of him. Those cars all running the very inside. Then you get down here into turns 1 and 2, and look at that. Car up top, car in the middle, car on the bottom. A little bit of a diamond move there from Brad Nelson. So you can do just about everything at Phoenix, and that's what makes it such a good track, and that's why they wanted to run the finale here. As you can see, sending it into the bottom is the 59 of Trevor Hunt, but can't get that run. Zachary King gets a better run off the top and clear.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting, maybe very polarizing point you brought up. This track for numerous years has hosted the NASCAR finale weekend for both all 3 major series, the trucks, now the O'Reillys, and the Cup Series. Of course, starting this year, that weekend is going to move around, quote unquote. We'll go back to Homestead.
Big save from King, sorry.
Ironically timed, because Fort Lauderdale, Florida is the home of Zachary King, not too far from Homestead, Miami Speedway. And watch this here. This is a wild bit of getting loose. It's no contact that I saw live. Watch this down in the corner. King tries to turn it in. And, wow, maybe just got in gas a little too soon, but that car wiggled pretty hard.
And that's the kind of thing that happens at Phoenix. We talk about tires wearing. Oftentimes when you think of tire wear, you think of the car, getting harder to steer. But right there, I think that was a situation where he also noticed that rear tire wear. Those rear tires have been getting used up. Tries to throw that car down in the corner, and the right rear just doesn't hook up, and around it goes. Great save. But you can see rubbing his eyes, tired after that one. I will say this, I want to clarify, I think Homestead is the deserved home of the finale. Homestead is the best track on the NASCAR schedule, without a doubt. But in these O'Reilly Series cars, Phoenix it puts on a great show. It did last year, and it's putting it on right now as we're going to see more side-by-side racing. This is the battle for the 12th position, I believe. Actually, that is a lap car. No, that's battle for 12. That's Michael Wade getting around Bradley Nelson. Yep. Nice pass. I don't know if you noticed that replay or not. You saw the green and blue gloves and the green and blue helmet of Zach King and that on board that our producer Howie Burrows gave us. All I could think of in my head, and it's very off topic, and I'm sorry my head went there, but all I could think of was the little alien dudes in Toy Story. The claw. That's all I could think of when I saw that blue and green on Zach King's gloves there. He's trying to drive a little bit like an alien here. Unfortunately, has himself knocked outside the top 10. Good run there. That is the lap car of 77 machine. I believe that is White getting way out of the way. No, nearly back in the way of Colin Bollinger. And there's another car hard on the fence. That is the 77 machine. That is Zach White.
Boy, and when you are a lead lap car like Bollinger and Devin Curl, that moment right there scares you a lot because it makes you scared that you're just going to end up throwing away everything. And that 77 is having a hard time and doing the best he can, but still having a very hard time on around. Riding on board with one of the cars here around Phoenix, this is Caleb Hunt. Caleb Hunt, the I think 21-year-old Alabama native. At 21 from Fort Payne, Alabama. Been on IRC for 2 years. Has made a championship appearance in the Mystic Racing League. And when we asked about his hobbies, it just says all caps, I do farming.
He farms.
No idea what he farmed. Yeah.
Fort Payne isn't too far from where I am now. I think if he gets in there and win this race, I'll have to go visit and bring him some champagne. Right now sitting in the 16th position, so trying to work this car on the long run as we get into the latter stages of stage number 2. Big dive there. That is Zachary King still working at it. And this now battle for position 3 has heated up. Curl and Ryan once again finding themselves side by side. These two just cannot get away from each other.
No, cannot at all. They've been trying for a while, has these cars to get away. That being Devin Curl up in the Yahoo machine, Tommy Ryan in the black and yellow car on back. I can't say black and yellow and not do it. Devin Lyons, by the way, it sounds like has been asked to park due to a connection problem. So bad night goes to worse for Devin Lyons, unfortunately. And whoa, there's a car up in the wall. That almost went bad to worse in front of the field there. That may have been Sean Merriman, I think I saw up in the wall up there. 18. I don't know if it was really as scary in the end as it looked live. I think the 18 was just kind of scrubbing the wall, maybe made the drivers nervous behind him, Cade. But at the battle, look at this Zachary King now, still all over the back into Trevor Hunt. And Zachary King does not take a lap off.
He does not, and this battle right here important because it's for the 10th position. Whoever's running in this spot will get a point at the end of the stage right there. Crossover from Trevor Hunt. Hunt to the bottom. Michael Wade wants to jump in and try to get some stage points as well. So these battles happening here are very important for the overall standings. Obviously, you want good track position, but you can see Zachary King, if he was relaxed a minute ago, he's locked in just a little bit more now. He's holding the 10th spot. Here comes the 16 of Michael Wade, stuffed it into the bottom of the corner. Going to be side by side with Trevor Hunt. That the battle now for 11th as King tries to escape and set his sights on Merriman. One more stake for Merriman. And that could be another spot lost, but just 4 to go in the stage.
I think that's a great lesson for all drivers. That battle right there between King and Merriman and Hunt let Michael Wade into this race. They really let Wade in because the more they were battling, they were slowing each other down. And here all of a sudden, here's Michael Wade now in that Cheez-It car and wants to squeeze it into top 10 here. Only about 2 full laps left of racing here before we put out the caution flag. A very clean stage here at Phoenix. A very solid run so far at Phoenix. And you think every driver right now is excited to put new tires in that car. There's King up at the wall. And I think Wade may actually get this spot. He does not. I thought he was going to get that spot after King hitting the wall there.
Yeah, King tapped the wall, but he was able to run really high, get huge momentum off the corner, keep it down the straightaway. Coming here, this is going to be, I think, 2 laps to go in the stage. So 2 more. Yes, for Michael Wade. He's done a good job saving his tires a little bit, trying to be good at the end of the race. But for the moment, he doesn't quite have the spot back up front. River Hayes, 1 lap to go. And if I'm remembering correctly, this could be on the cusp of a stage sweep for the 81 car.
Yep, that River Hayes car led part of the first stage, pitted under the second caution. Took a while to get back up front, but now look on board and he'll see the white and green flag this time by pure dominance in stage 2 by the driver, the 81. River Hayes will come around out of turn 4 and he will win stage 2 at Phoenix. caution is going to come out here. And let's take a look here. There it is. So it's going to be Hayes, Bollinger, Curl, Ryan, Henson, Holston, Vaughn, Cooper, Merriman, and Zach King does hold on for P10.
And that's really important for River Hayes winning these 2 stages. That is 20 points coming off a crash at Daytona that had him scored outside the top 30 at the end of that event. Now able to put some good points and also get some good track position as we see less than 110 laps to go. River Hayes in great position, but there's a lot of other really good cars. We've kind of separated the men from the boys here in these first 2 stages, and now we're going to be seeing which of those men can go out there and get themselves a checkered flag.
Everybody's going to make that left-hand turn down to pit road. You would think everyone on the lead lap at least will. There may be one driver. I'll track that in a second, but look at that big, long line down pit road. And remember, no one pitted in stage 2, so everyone here, it's Geyers and Taz. It's tires and gas dumbing down pit road here, and we'll wait and see who comes out of pit road first. There's going to be River Hayes leading us down all the way to the end of pit road. He was pit stall number 1 from qualifying P1, and he'll get there down finally to his pit stall. Boy, that feels like just a long crawl, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that entire time you're trying to sit right on the pit road speed. Occasionally you can jump a little bit higher. I think pit speed here is 45 mile an hour, so you want to kind of try to jump to 46. Everybody kind of trying to sit right on that number, and you're paying attention to the entirety of pit road. You're working your right foot, modulating the throttle, and it can be hard to do for an entire straightaway without jumping over that limit and speeding. So looks like everybody is going to get through pits cleanly. A couple of shuffling of positions as we come out of the pits, but River Hayes able to maintain the lead.
Yep, not a surprise there. River Hayes is going to be there, so with Collinger, Curl, Henson, and Tommy Ryan back to P5 here after the pits. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're enjoying everything tonight in the race, I'd love to take a look at what's upcoming on Green Flag TV in the next few days. There's a very busy schedule. In fact, right now, Corbin, there's 2 other races going on the channel. The Speed Cup Series starts here pretty soon. They're at Daytona for their duels tonight. That's Nolan Rimple and Brad Daniels over there on the call. Right now, the Collegiate iRacing League Formula College is already underway. That's Justin Prince and Marty Skrull over there on the call. Tomorrow night, the Zero Torque Racing League heads over to Texas Motor Speedway for round 2 of their playoff system. Saturday morning, the VSCA has 2 hours and 40 minutes at Long Beach Street Circuit in the IMSA cars, followed by the Beer League. They're going to run a fun track at VIR with the, I think the Pro 2 lights, no track limits. It's a fun exhibition race. We'll wrap up Saturday with the SRA and then more races this week on. So a very busy, we're up to 7 nights a week. I think I counted out 52 broadcasts in the month of February here on Green Flag TV.
And that is fantastic. All of those races are going to be really good. Do have to give a shout out to the Collegiate iRacing League Cup Series. That one's going to be happening next Monday at Rockingham. But we're focused right here. This will be 106 to go with the green flag. Hayes and Bollinger, 2 of the best all day on the front row. Great jump from Hayes. Bollinger got a little bit of a tire spin, checked up the top group. Here comes Ryan on the outside. That is Henson throwing it all the way down to the apron. And he might be able to get the second spot. Oh, he loses it around in the middle. He's into Ryan. There's a caution turn 2. And the caution has not yet come out.
I heard it come out. Yep.
There it is.
Wow, let's watch this again and see what happened. A very busy turn. There's Ryan up top. There's the cars in the middle and the bottom. Watch the 99. Oh, 39 is wiggled. And it's tagged. That car, that's the 39. That is a hard hit. Oof. That was Gavin Henson, I believe, in the 39 that tagged up there with Ryan, and around we go in that moment. Well, very quickly after a very clean stage 2, that's an awkward moment right there.
And I think what's happened is he's gone down and touched the apron. If we're, riding along with Henson, he sends it all the way to the bottom. Obviously, they're running the dogleg, but he's going to get that left front tire over that yellow line just a little bit, and that upsets the car huge. Trying to work the wheel actually keeps it pointed in the right direction. A little bit of contact with the 27. Obviously, big contact with Tommy Ryan. But, yeah, that's all of a product. Dove that car into the corner. just a little bit too deep, hit the bottom a little bit too early, and big contact with the 99. There it is. And we're back under yellow here. Still River Hayes leading, and we'll get to restart with about 100 laps to go. That'll be the halfway point in tonight's race of the Caswell Glass Company Series.
Yep, certainly will. Let's go back in time a little bit to a wreck that happened back in the first stage. And let's talk to a driver involved. I want to welcome into the Green Flag TV broadcast booth, Isaac Brock. And Isaac, you were involved in an incident back in the first stage. What was your perspective of what happened in that incident?
Well, I really just made a bad mistake and thought that he was going to go lower to cut the dog leg and didn't. So I just ended up dooring him down the straightaway there.
So I'm assuming the car is terminally done?
I went and got my fast repair done. We're a few laps down, but I was experiencing some issues with my connection, so race control wanted me to take it to the rear, and then I just kept experiencing those issues, so we just elected to take it to the garage.
Fair enough. So a couple quick questions. One, since you made a note for it in your driver bio, that was your birthday last week, or Monday actually, so happy late birthday. How did you celebrate your 19th birthday?
Well, I went to work, and then that evening we went and Mom made dinner, and then got my birthday present, which was the Moza R5. So
there you go.
It's a new racing wheel to hopefully compete for some wins this season.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate your time. We're about to go green, so we're going to get back to it. But happy late birthday and enjoy the wheel.
Yeah, thank you.
That is Isaac Brock to what, Kate? I need to get involved in that family. If we're getting R5s for birthdays, do they adopt?
I don't know. There might be some way where you can do some Habsburg magic and sneak your way into that one. Meanwhile, green flag is out here. River Hayes leading us ahead. Great jump from the entire bottom lane. Shooting ahead. That's going to give Bollinger the second spot. Here comes Aaron Baum, the highest he's been all day, up to P3. A couple of the front runners knocked out in that previous crash, leaving some room inside the top 5. And that's quickly filled by Holston Baum and now Sean Merriman up to the 5th position. He's the first battle on track outside of Baum, and he is going to be clear now for P4.
Look at that gaggle on back, though. On behind Baum. So, I mean, it's Baum, Cooper, Nelson, Wade, King, Peffrey, Hunt on back. It's just one big gaggle, as Matt Malone would call them, a famous iRacing streamer. It's 5 or more cars in a pack together. Well, that definitely qualifies. There's at least 7 I see in that pack.
We are nose to tail through pretty much the entire field. Quick shout out, don't want to jinx the man, but Ryan Pelfrey. Oh, Ryan Pelfrey in the wreck. No, he's not. It's 2 other cars. That is Zach Davidson and Zach King. Bad day to be named Zach, and they are parked on the exit to turn 4.
I think King just got to the bottom of the track. I'm not sure how, and then I saw the car slide up there in front of the field. Let's watch it again and see what's going to happen here in the replay machine. King's on the bottom and white and brown. So watch the bottom of the track. There's a 31 on back. I don't know if the 31 made contact. That might have been some quote-unquote air between them, I think. I don't know if the 31 ever actually made contact. Watch this again here, Cade, and see what you think.
Yeah, he's going to enter the corner side by side with the 16, just ahead of Pelfrey.
Man, that angle looks more convincing. Yeah, that angle looked more convincing than the first one did. I don't know, but
there was definitely contact.
Regardless, that car went sliding and hit the wall. And watch it one more time. This would be a good view here, I think.
Pelfrey did get a really good run off that corner to take the 10th position, and what's going to happen is King is going to have to jump on the brakes a little bit sooner than maybe Pelfrey was expecting because he's to the inside of the 16. We're going to ride along with Pelfrey here. He's going to be clear coming off the corner, and he's going to cut to the bottom, wants to get to the inside of Michael Hayes. And, yep, big contact.
So what? I'll say this, and I'll use the word that we don't often use as broadcasters, which is netcode. It's when the software predicts something that may not have happened. In my mind, there's 2 types of netcode, Kate. There's what I call inevitable netcode and unrealistic netcode. And the second one we've seen, especially in certain races where you're 4, 5, 6 feet from a car and somehow it turns around. That's unbelievable net code. This here, I think, is inevitable. Like, even if there wasn't exactly contact between those cars, it was headed in that direction, right? It was that was going to be contact regardless. So 31 gets in the back of Zach King. King slides up the hill, and that's going to hurt both those cars. And I think neither one, though. Zach King did come down to lap 102 and get about a minute of repairs done. So we'll see how that car fares. The car was in the top 10 all night and is now all the way back in P22.
That knocks King out of it. Davidson was involved as well. He'd been slowly working his way towards the front of the field, I think similar to a lot of other guys. His best running position was on that short green flag run on that just before that yellow came out. Same thing about Douglas Wysocki. That 11 car was the best that he's been all day as well, up to B12. Going to be on the outside of row 6 for this restart as we've officially crossed the halfway point in this race.
Halfway well done here, and now the laps begin to count down. Less than 100 to go as the green flag comes out. River Hayes takes the green flag. It's Holston in that bright white base car up top. He's trying to get a run up top, but now it's going to be Bollinger, Merriman, Baum, Cooper, and Moore trying to run him down.
Oh, big loose for Baum. Had a slide in the middle of the corner, but was able to save it at a little bit of contact with Cooper.
Oh.
But both of them going the same direction. Now there's big contact. Adam Holston in the outside wall. Merriman's involved, but he keeps it straight. Cooper scoots through, and everybody keeps it in line, but they're going to be nearly 3 wide on the exit of the corner and side by side farther on back.
I'm curious if that may come back around later, if there may be a how do you do in return for that moment. We'll wait and see when Holster gets back up to Cooper, if anything comes out. There's Bradley Cooper in that black and red machine coming up top here up by the wall. Let's put a car between them for now, which is Aaron Baum sort of playing the role of moving pick, maybe to help calm the frustration, if you will.
Well, Baum has been able to stay out of trouble pretty much all day and looking to continue that. Right here, sneaking into, still inside the top 5. Move to the bottom from Holston. The Holston's been a little bit more aggressive throughout this one. Doesn't quite have the momentum on the bottom to make that move stick. So Baum's going to stay in the 5th spot. And here comes Pelfrey again. Will not go away. Actually clear, but the over-under for Holston going to stay side by side off of 4. That's the 31 car just ahead of Michael Wade and others as they race off into turn number 1. Big move there from Adam Holston.
I'll be honest, I've been surprised a couple times tonight by these cars, and Holston's the next one. How hard he hit that wall. I'm surprised that car seems to be as okay as it is, right? I'm not saying it should have been damaged or done, or, but I'm surprised it's still pointed straight. It's still competitive after that big lick. Let's watch what happens. See it again. This is that moment with Holston we saw a moment ago. There's car in the back in 18, and Holston's going to come up the track, hits the wall. The 18 makes the contact. Bradley Cooper's going to zoom on through. So I called Cooper's name incorrectly earlier. It wasn't Cooper. It was the 18 of Merriman that made a little bit of contact there. Cade.
Yeah, both of them involved a little bit. Baum actually did get a little bit of right front damage from that one. I don't think it's going to hurt him any, but he's now giving up spot to Pelfrey, and the yellow is out.
Zach King spun around. Caution is out yet again in State Street. Boy, the night has gone from the penthouse to the bottom floor for Zach King. Let's see what's going to happen to King here. I heard. Whoa, boy, they're 4 wide. That's what happened. This barely comes up, taps the 41. Then he gets tapped from behind by the 95, and there you go. And they got it turned sideways, and caution has to come out. The 95 was Justin Miller, by the way. That made it barely. I mean, and you can't blame Miller here, Kate. That's just, they were asking for that to happen almost.
Yeah, that's Brandon Willard in the 54 who gets, looks like he's trying to lunge into the corner, and Zach King gets hit in the rear, but then they're fine. Then that 41, that is a lap car. Willard's going to try to hold the bottom. King barely gets into him, and then at that point, yeah, that 95 machine already on the gas. There's really no way for him to back out there and save the car. So unfortunately, gets straight into the bumper of King. And, I mean, they were 4 wide, so I think they're pretty lucky to only have 2 of them involved in the wreck.
By the way, Tommy Ryan was up there, I think, in that black and yellow machine, and really was possibly the luckiest person out of all of that. Because I thought for sure if those cars had gone up the track and not down, Tommy Ryan might have been in serious trouble. More cars down pit road, a bunch of cars down pit road. Only the top 3 stayed out, so this will be yet another set of tires here as we now count more of them off the board.
I think everybody now is at the point where they should have 2 tire sets left, assuming that the entire field is going to come in here. You remember back to the very beginning of the race, Devin Curl had put it in for, after I want to say about 17 laps, went out there and was able to pass a whole bunch of drivers. So everybody saw that here, 14 laps, plenty of tires, or excuse me, plenty of tire sets left. So they've decided to come in. Looks like the top 3 have stayed out though. River Hayes, Jeff Ryan, and Tommy Ryan are going to be your top 3 for this restart. So this could be an opportunity here for somebody to go up there and pass River Hayes. If we get a long green flag run and you've got 18 lap fresher tires, you might be able to make the pass on River Hayes. Bollinger's been close all day, so he may be the one who's going to be able to make that move.
What a tale of 2 stories for Jeff Ryan, by the way. Nearly caught up in that wreck right there. We saw when they were 4 wide. He was just up top right behind it. Kind of had to check up and work his way around it. And now here we are. He's up leading the top lane. Well, here's what we're going to do in this restart. Something a little different. Kate and I are going to sit back. We're going to crank up the microphones on track. We're going to find a car to ride on board with. We'll find that in just a moment here. And you at home are going to get to enjoy the sights and sounds of Phoenix Raceway. We're going to ride on board right here. This will be, I believe, second car back in the top lane. This will be Colin Bollinger we're going to ride on board with. So what's going to happen here is they're going to take the green flag, and you're going to feel the noise on Green Flag TV. All right, back here quickly. We'll go back and feel the noise yet again a little bit. But wreck in the back of the field. I saw Brad Nelson was involved, maybe a couple others, and we'll see what happened here as we're under caution yet again at Phoenix. Well, oh, right there, a little bit of bump from behind, and it gets a little ugly. Oh my gosh, that car went around like a pirouette.
Yeah, huge contact into the outside wall. That might be the hardest wreck that we have seen all day. Second one in a row for this 95 machine. We also see a couple of other guys that were involved, I think, trying to avoid that one. We'll get another look at it here.
Boy, that was just a difference of braking points, I guess, is the only way I can describe it to you. This one car, yep, and then it went up the hill, into the wall, and went bowling for cars at that point. Let's keep my eye on the pit tower here, and couple cars in the back. McCoy, Benke, Zach White, Brad Nelson's back there on pit road. So a few more cars down pit road trying out. You know what? Let's do this if we can. Zach King is down there, and I think we're going to try to grab Zach King for a comment here. Under caution. See how Zach's feeling about this race here. So let's do that. So let's welcome Zach King in the Green Flag TV broadcast booth. And Zach, how's it out there? I'll start with that question.
If you're behind 15th, you're in the void. That's what they call it, or what they used to call it. Just gotta stay out of trouble and not get ran over. I was actually trying to save fuel, so maybe that wasn't smart to save fuel in the first lap of the run. But I was actually trying to save fuel and try to run it as long as I can. I wanted to try to get at least 55 laps out of this tank, and try to set up for like a one-stop situation, but wasn't able to do that obviously with the wreck. So,
what's scarier, 3 wide at Daytona or 4 wide at Phoenix? Do you know you were 4 wide at Phoenix? Didn't me ask that question.
No clue I was 4 wide. No clue
Okay.
whatsoever I was 4 wide.
Okay, well, you'll find out later.
Yeah, 4 wide is more scary here than Daytona because you can predict it when it's 3 wide.
All right, well, listen, we know we're back to 1 degree, and we're going to put you back down with your teammates. Good luck the rest of the race, and maybe we'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Zach King. Well, Cade, he says he didn't know that he was 4 wide at Phoenix.
And that's something that's an iRacing issue. The iRacing spotter that comes with this system, the default spotter, doesn't have a 4 wide call. They'll call you if you're 3, bottom 3, middle 3, top 3. But if you're 4 or 5 wide, which does happen on these restarts, especially with that dog leg, Pocono is the other track where this is super infamous. But the iRacing spotter doesn't know what to say, and sometimes he just says nothing, and it puts you in a really hairy spot.
Certainly will. Well, what could be a very hairy spot is the lead of this race. Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ryan going to take the green flag. Remember, they last pitted back on lap 93 and 98. They're up front on older tires, and quickly, Jeff got swallowed up by Colin Ballinger, and Ballinger now wants to take the lead. That will involve passing Tommy Ryan in that black and yellow machine. Oh, hold on. I saw smoke in the back. Smoke in the back. Are we good? I think we are, but I definitely saw a car I thought was going around on the bottom of the corner there. The main told it might have been Justin Miller, but he quickly got that car off the track. So we're going to stay green, no caution here at this point.
I think there was something there involving Trevor Hunt as well. I saw that 59 car fall all the way down the timing tower. A little bit of an issue. Yep, there he is. That is Trevor Hunt. Got the power down a little bit too hard, found himself in the middle of the pack, and slid all the way to the tail end of the lead lap. Kept that car straight though, no damage, still rolling.
What did Zach King call that area? The void? Well, that's where Trevor Hunt's going to find himself now.
And something else I want to point out is back in that void is the guy who's dominated this race. That would be River Hayes. Pitted for tires under the last caution, was one of the few drivers to pit. Now back in P12, having to work his way through the entirety of the field now. Tommy Ryan doing a good job holding on those older tires. But most of the field, a little bit better rubber. Now here is River Hayes going 3 wide, trying to make up spots. He's got Zach King all the way to the outside. That is the 19 of Caleb Hunt. And it looks like Hayes is going to get both of those positions, but still a long way to go to get back to the lead of this race.
Well, you mentioned the Irish spotter doesn't always call 4 wide. I bet Zach King didn't know he was 3 wide there. So he stays up top and avoids any calamity in that moment. Now working only 80 laps to go, 81 laps to go here. It's going to be 80 now at Phoenix. Those laps are quickly ticking away. Tommy Ryan's found his way back up front, or stays up front, I should say, but with Colin Ballinger, Ryan Peffrey now your second and third place cars. Let's try this again, Cade. We had a caution last time. Let's see if we can get it in this time. We're riding on board Colin Ballinger. Everyone to try to run down the leader at Phoenix. Let's let you experience that feeling. Let's crank up the microphones, and once again, let's feel the noise. You've been riding on board with Colin Ballinger, and Kate, as it took that ride there, I kept noticing how consistent both of their lines were. Not much variations between first and second place.
Yeah, and Ryan is doing a good job, I believe, hanging on older tires. The other guy who's on the same strategy is the other Ryan. Jeff Ryan has slipped back from 2nd to 7th. But Tommy Ryan has been able to keep the lead. Ballinger there has been hounding him, though. Pelfrey very solidly in the 3rd spot, and the other guy to keep an eye on, River Hayes, up to P6, but 2.5 seconds back of the lead. We're looking now. Hayes has just gotten around Jeff Ryan, and Bradley Cooper is the next one looking for the 7th position. About to have on our hands a battle for 5th. Slightly better rubber for River Hayes as he catches the 18 of Sean Merriman.
And I think it's important to mention here, by the way, as will probably be a bunch of leagues on the oval side, and obviously they're starting right around this time. Every point matters this year, Cade. We're going back to the old chase format, the old 10 race, playoffs, no win in, none of that other fancy stuff. Pure chase format here. So every person you pass means something at the end of the year. A single point could lock you in or out of those final 10 races. So it's really important here. Every stage point, every finishing point, whatever you can get, that you net everything you can.
And something to think about, too, is positioning in the overall standings, even if you're making the chase, is important as well because of the points gap between the positions after the reset. So, yeah, you're not going to start the chase until August or September, very late in the season. But at the moment, you want to start your season off as strong as you can, especially with, in some cases, it could be a 15 or 20-point bump between first or second. So this battle right here is huge in terms of the points. Ryan Ballinger, now Pelfrey has been brought into this battle. I think Ballinger's been saving a little bit, thinking, hey, if we get a long green flag run, we'll have to have green flag pit stops at some point. Want to save a little bit of tire. Don't want to burn my stuff up, but he goes to the bottom, side by side. Good run off the top, though, for Ryan as he runs that middle groove. As they get side by side, that's going to slow them up. Pelfrey's going to get brought into this battle, and Devin Curl's going to be able to close in as well. So Ballinger, I like the patience because the more he gets side by side with the 99 machine, the more it's going to be. It's going to bring more cars into this battle.
So there was a point earlier in the broadcast and you talked about if you wondered when tires were going to level off. And I wonder if we found that spot, by the way, because there is about a 13, 14 lap difference between these two drivers as far as those tires. So your leader last pit on lap 98, your second place car last pit on lap 111. Now it's worth noting, by the way, nobody's done pitting. Something that's not come up yet tonight, but worth noting, 60% fuel tanks in these cars. So nobody is good on gas, except for, I'd say nobody. Yet. About another, 20 laps or so, we could have that discussion about your final pit stops. And everyone needs to pit again here, as Ballinger's going to try and make that pass again on the bottom. Down the back straight, they're going to go. Does he try and outbrake him? He does not. But I think you may have found that level off points on the tires.
Something else that could change as well is how you've driven the car. That we're getting to the point now where the people that push their cars on the short run are starting to feel a little bit less grip. They've got a little more tire wear, a little bit more heat buildup. And so now instead of a lap differential, it actually comes down to how you've pushed the car. A little bit of strategy. Huge slide from Tommy Ryan coming out of turn 2. Opens the door for Ballinger. Ballinger going to throw it in there, take the top spot. Here comes Pelfrey looking for P2. They're going to be side by side now for second coming off the corner. And Pelfrey cuts all the dog leg to maintain that track position. He may have a shot at second here, throws it into the corner, and yes, slide job and clear on Tommy Ryan. And just like that, Tommy Ryan going to slide all the way back to P3. But you talk about fuel strategy. I don't think the fuel is necessarily going to be the deciding factor on when you pit. A lot of these guys pitted with just under 100 laps to go. Our last restart, I think, was with 88 to go. And so you're going to want to look to split that run approximately in half to maximize your fresh tires. Maybe you want to short pit just a little bit for track position. Maybe you want to run long to try to have fresh rubber at the end of the race. But that pit window is going to open here on tires in about 16 laps. So that's really the number that we're looking at. 50-ish laps to go. We'll see them start trickling down pit road. And I would expect everybody to have a stop made by lap 160, which is 26 laps from now, 40 laps to go.
Well, a couple names I'll keep in mind. They're in the back of the field currently. McCoy Benke is one of them, and Zach White is the other. They pitted into that last caution at lap 115, so we'll see if maybe that somehow works itself out. That would be a little later than the rest of the field. And by the way, 115 is also when River Hayes pitted back up in P5, so we'll see if that does work itself out as this run progresses. But look at this here, 5 cars, and the batter's Michael Wade right behind the 3 car. You see a couple cars behind them. That is going to be Caleb Hunt, Gavin Henson, and Morgan Cook, who we saw involved in an incident earlier. But Morgan's back up here on the track. And remember, everyone did get a fast repair in this race, okay? So some of those drivers we saw involved in battles earlier, as you now see them 3 wide with that green and white car of Morgan Cook on the bottom. You saw a bit of a bump from Gavin Henson. But a bunch of drivers by now have used their fast repairs. And I bring it up to say, now you have to race as if you don't have one, because you don't. Whatever happens here is permanent.
But the thing with the fast repair too is, even if you come down pit road, take that fast repair, and the time it takes for you to get the car back to pit road or tow back to pit road, and then you pit, you restart at the rear of the field, you're still losing time in track position. Even though your car gets completely fixed, you still have, damage in terms of time loss and track position loss. And so it takes a lot out of you if you do have to use that fast repair. So it's a really good recovery for that 51 machine of Morgan Cook. Right now, looking for the top 10. We know he's got fresher tires than Jeff Ryan, so this pass shouldn't be super difficult. Ryan's definitely burnt his stuff up a little bit. So Cook up to P10, Ryan back to 11th, Caleb Hunt there in 12th, and Gavin Henson was contending for, I believe, the top 5 earlier in this race, and Henson has slid all the way back outside of the top dozen. So kind of 2 different stories there, trending upward for Cook as he hunts down Wade, but trending backward for Henson. Going to have to turn it around now with less than 61 to go.
Yep, see a couple of webcams to that bottom webcam, that in the that green sweater, the high vis sweater fuel. That's the car right in front of the Cheez-Its car. That is Michael Wade there on the track, having a good time, trying to see what they can get out of this. Caleb Hunt is a little bit further back in the 19 car, but still in that camera shot. So both there's that is that I guess you would call it an aqua blue and white car, a seafoam. What do you would call that? Bright blue. But regardless, there's that car. Well, the run's starting to set in limit here, Kane. As you said, now we begin to wonder when people want to pit. And I'm sure as those tires are wearing off, these drivers are getting very, very antsy for that pit window to open. Right now, they're trying to almost like, I describe it as making it like a negotiation with yourself, right? Okay, Derek, whatever. It's, I can pit in 10 laps. Just hold on for 10 laps. Or I can pit in 15. You're kind of playing this mind game with yourself where you're kind of trying to like barter with yourself about how long you can hang on for.
Yeah, and those fresh tires are waiting for you in the pit. So sometimes as a driver, that's tempted me to come in a little bit sooner than I maybe would have wanted. If I say, hey, I set my point when the run starts, like, hey, I need to go, split this race in half or split this stint, maybe 40%, 60%. But as soon as I get close to that number, I want to bring it in just a lap early or just 2 laps early. Come on, just put some shoes on. But looking at it right now, drivers have lost about 1.3 seconds of lap time from their best laps now to where we're running right now. So that is the amount of fall off. All of that time is lost in the middle of the corner. You just don't have the grip. And so you want to come in, put those tires on to get that rotation. I think if you pit right now, you might be able to make it on fuel, but you'd be absolutely dead on tires by the end of the run, which is why, like you said, Derek, you've got to negotiate with yourself to go a few more laps so that you have grip at the very end of the race, which is when the pay window opens.
Well, look at the 19 down to the bottom of the track. Really kind of barreled on through there and got a great run. Got up under the 3 and made the pass. They were 3 wide for a moment. And then Caleb Hunt was able to come on around here. Oh, there's Hollister way wide off the corner. He'll let's get that car handled and get it all worked up here. But nice passes still happening. Caleb Hunt's up to P11, by the way. Speaking of people up and down the field, compared to last week when we saw drivers up 15 or down 15 spots, if we take a look at our biggest gainers of the race as far as positions are concerned, there's not a lot of jumps here. Okay, look at the names on the board. I think +6 out of Bradley Cooper is the biggest jump of the night.
And what you're seeing is the drivers that were able to go out and figure out how to go fast in qualifying, they've taken that exact same pace and they've brought it to the race. So Cooper, honestly, 6 positions for that entire list of guys is huge, because you're thinking that there's probably a number of drivers that outqualified them that also have better race pace. So being able to find ways to stay out of trouble, maybe a little bit of strategy, a little bit of long run pace, finding out how to make passes can be very difficult on a multi-groove racetrack, and those guys have found a way to get it done. The race definitely isn't over, so we're not going to hand out the awards yet. But right now, very, very solid races for Cooper, Cook, the rest of that group. As it's kind of single-filed out a little bit here, closing up on 50 laps to go. I think that pit window is going to be open very shortly, and that is going to be another opportunity to gain or lose time.
Other flip side of that graphic, by the way, Trevor Hunt is down 7 on the day. That's the biggest loss I see of anyone, I think, is Trevor Hunt down 7, currently running in P16, still on the lead lap. We started tonight with 30-plus cars, and 32 cars we started this evening. I think we still have 24 of them on the lead lap and 26 of them on, maybe 27 of them on track. So overall, I know those fast repairs will help this number a little bit, but very low attrition rates here throughout 100-plus laps at Phoenix.
Something to think about, though, even though we do have 24 cars on the lead lap, the leader, Bollinger, is rapidly catching lap traffic. We're going to kind of have a look at the 88 there. If you look off the nose of that car, you're going to see the red car just in front of him. I believe that's the last car on the lead lap, which is McCoy Benke.
Yep.
And so that is a spot. Benke right now hoping for a yellow at some point in these next couple of laps. Otherwise, he's going to have to probably run long to stay on the lead lap throughout the pit cycle and try to catch a caution that way, because Bollinger's catching him at a pretty rapid pace, and if Bollinger can get there, it's going to put that car lap down.
Yeah, there's our first pit. This is Joshua Thornton, by the way. This may be our first pit on cycle. So Thornton's down pit road, a car that we saw up front earlier, had some troubles a little bit ago, and now it's down pit road. Could this be the opening of the pit window?
Well, I don't think he's going to tempt too many guys coming in 2 laps down. Going to probably lose 1 or 2 more laps here. A little bit of damage control for Thornton at the moment. I think trying to just get this thing to the end of the race. You can gain a few more positions, gain a few more spots. But we are going to see a couple more cars coming down pit road soon. This is lap 50. A lot of guys pitted around lap 100, so this would split it exactly in half. Zach Davidson is going to do it. It looks like Tommy Ryan, the first of the leaders to pit, he's coming in from the 4th position, and it's going to be 4 tires with 50 laps to go for Tommy Ryan.
And I always think that pit road has sort of became a follow the leader, right? Monkey say, monkey do kind of thing. So once you see someone come down there, it's almost like, I guess you get FOMO, right? You get that fear of missing out. Maybe you see someone go down, you go, did I miss something? Did I not get the memo? Are we? I guess we're pitting now. As now we see both Ryans down pit road. So maybe this was planned all along, but sometimes I think once that first car goes down pit road, whether they're a lap down or not, it just sort of stirs the pot a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and you got to remember, Tommy Ryan and Jeff Ryan were on that different strategy where they had about 10 extra laps on that previous run of tires, so they definitely wanted to be some of the first ones to pit road. But yeah, as soon as they come down, what they're going to do is come off pit road with fresh tires, and they're going to be laying down fast laps. We talked about 1.5 seconds of fall off. They're going to be 1.5 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field. Like you said, everybody gets a little bit of FOMO. They want to have that same set of rocket fuel, and so they come into the pits, they put those tires on. The alternate strategy is to stay out a little bit longer, maybe until 40 to go, and then have grip at the very end of the race.
Right.
Which, that's when you finish. That's when the points get paid out. So you want to be good then. It's a very difficult strategy to pull off, though. It requires a lot of discipline. As you're getting passed by lap cars with fresher tires, you've got to stay focused, keep hitting your marks. It's easy to do in clean air. So Bollinger, Pelfrey, they may opt for that strategy. Everybody else, like you said, I think they're going to want to follow the leader, and they'll be into the pits here in a couple of laps.
So we'll keep an eye on some of those cars that did pit and see how fast they're running. Right now it's back to P22 and Tommy Ryan. Now, what's the danger in pitting? The danger in pitting is simply this. Tommy Ryan's a lap down right now. He's going to quickly try to get that back right here on your screen. But until that happens, a caution could throw this whole thing it's on its head. Now, here's the 3 car. He's going to get up under our leader, and he'll get his lap back the quote-unquote the old-fashioned way. Now it'll put him back in the lead lap. But when you pit here at Phoenix under green, Phoenix is probably a great example, but most tracks under green, you run the risk of something bad happening if that caution comes out.
Something I do want to point out with Jeff Ryan, he's actually now 1 lap down. He was far enough behind on that last green flag run that when he came into pit, he lost 2 laps. So he's come out, he's gotten 1 lap back the old-fashioned way, but he is still a lap down. Tommy Ryan, I believe right now, is in the free pass position if a caution did come out. Actually, that's Zach White that has that spot. So Ryan right now, both of the Ryans still in the danger zone along with the rest of the field. That's pitting. That's Merriman, Hunt, Hinson. Of course, we saw Davidson on pit road. Joey Beam has come down to make a pit stop. You're a little bit scared right now, worried that a yellow is going to fly, because if it comes out right now, huge problems for all the cars that are trapped a lap down.
Huge problem indeed would be the word I would use. So I think we're getting close to about half the field being split between pitting and not pitting. And of course, so that means we now only have about 15 cars on the lead lap, but that number will rapidly change as this run continues. Right there is the Yahoo car. That is Devin Curl. He's trying to run down to 31 of Ryan Pelfrey. Pelfrey, by the way, a wild story in this race. We've seen Pelfrey spun around, involved in wrecks, and here he is now back up front with about 42 laps to go.
This has actually become the battle for the lead. Bollinger came down in pit. Looks like a pretty clean stop for him. Cooper, Cook, Willard, they're all on pit road. There was your leader. Actually, he's just now getting into his box. So we'll see how Bollinger does pitting from the front. Always really scary, something that's hard to do. Benke has come down pit road. I think we've mentioned everybody else that's made a stop under green. That leaves just about 11 cars that have yet to make a stop. Here comes Curl. So he's going to give up the second position. That moves River Hayes up to P2, the most recent car to pit before this cycle started, but Hayes going to have to pit soon as well.
Yep, so I haven't got to pit here soon. A couple cars left out here. You see all those pit road timers on the right side of your screen, but there is the 81. That's the car currently running in P2, and River Hayes is trying to run down that 31 of Ryan Pelfrey. That's the car right there that is the leader. And right now there's about a 1.5 second gap. You see it on your screen there between first place right there and then your second place car back. Here comes Pelfrey down pit road. He'll pit. He'll give up the lead. And that should nope, River Hayes following in. So River Hayes will come down, and that'll put, I believe, Michael Wade for the moment up to P1. He's one of the few cars left on the pit.
And this run is a little bit long. Like we said, about 40 laps to go. They're going to have plenty of speed at the end of this race. But everybody who pit about 5 or 10 laps ago has been gaining time. You do 1.5 seconds for the past 5 laps. I mean, that's 7.5 seconds. That is a good chunk of an entire straightaway that they've given up. So they're going to cycle out probably somewhere in the back half of the top 5, maybe back half of the top 10 even for Pelfrey and Hayes. But they're going to have the most grip. They're going to have to go forward and go fast. Now less than 39 to go. Wade stays out to lead a lap. He's pitting. And we do have a spinner. It is Thornton.
Is moving again, but was slow on track. No caution. You go back about 20 seconds in time, I think. Here we go. Watch this. Watch Thornton here. I heard the slide, and I looked over out of the broadcast window. Oh, it got bumped by Devin Curl. And up the track, into the wall. Slowed down, kept it pointed straight. Luckily for a lot of drivers, Cade, that would have screwed up a lot of pit strategies. Watch this again. Devin Curl, new tires, and just different braking points.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot more pace from Curl, and like you said, fresher tires. I think was expecting a little bit more room, but absolutely no requirement for Thornton to give it. So the contact happened there. Unfortunately, the day gets even worse somehow for Thornton. Back up front, Tommy Ryan has cycled to the lead. It is complete now. Everybody has made a pit stop. Tommy Ryan 3 seconds up on Bollinger, but Bollinger is going to be coming. He's had about a 7-lap tire advantage, so he's going to be gaining time. Devin Curl coming, and River Hayes just set the fastest lap of the session, so you know that he is on the hunt right now, back in the 6th spot. I think it could come down to Ryan, Bollinger, Curl, or Hayes. Any one of them right now is in very good position to win this race. Pelfrey on fresh tires should be able to hang on to a top 5 as well, but 36 laps to go. Anything can happen here on Green Flag TV.
So talking about 11 lap difference, by the way, if you look at when people have pitted last, I see, like, for example, our leader last pitted lap 152, that's Tommy Ryan. I think the last person to pit was Michael Wade on 163. So about 11 lap difference here of gas and tires in those cars. Again, I think gas is fine. That's not my concern, but the tires, 11 laps difference. We've seen how big a difference that makes all night long. So now the question is, does those people who pitted late have the appropriate amount of time to get those tires warmed up and use them? Lots of questions left to answer with about 35 laps to go here at Phoenix Raceway.
And this 11 lap, that gap that you talk about, reminds me of the previous stint where both of the Rhines had stayed out. They were about 11 or 12 lap older tires than the rest of the field. And by the end of that run, they'd gotten run over. Jeff Rhine was outside the top 10, and Tommy Rhine was close to falling out of the top 5. Meanwhile, the gap first to second, that's only a 7-lap difference, but it has fallen from 2.5 to now less than 1.5 seconds. Bollinger is coming. Tommy Rhine, the leader, is in lap traffic. Right now, we're looking at Pelfrey, who's navigating lap traffic as well. He's got River Hayes trying to close in on him. So a lot going on here as we're going to have battles all over the place for the rest of this one.
That way, doesn't it? 33 laps to go. Happy along for the ride here on Green Flag TV. Derek Watson, Kane Corbin with Howie Burrows pushing the buttons, making this look and sound good. And look at that green, green, green on the bottom of the screen. That's River Hayes. That's good news for them because they are gaining lap by lap on Ryan Pelfrey. That's about it for 4th and 5th on your screen here. As Cade said, Tommy Ryan, though, started to walk away about 1 second back of Colin Ballinger here. That's the leader right there with the red, white, and blue machine. And that is Ballinger a little bit back in the camera shot. So it's going to be Ballinger right there. Sorry, Ballinger's right there. Yep. So there's going to be your second place car. And we'll see on
Bollinger can see the leader. He's cut it down to half a second. That yellow and black car just ahead is Tommy Ryan. And Ryan is having a heck of a time dealing with the lap car of Zachary King. Zachary King trying to stay on the lead lap, I believe. And he has every right to fight for that position. If a caution comes out right now, Zachary King would get to stay on the lead lap and come back around to the rear of the field. Zach Davidson just ahead of them. He's trying to stay on the lead lap as well. That has held up Tommy Ryan probably just as much, if not even more than the tire disadvantage. And the clear track in front of Bollinger has allowed the 88 to sneak right back into this one. Devin Curl now is within 2 seconds of this gap, and Hayes is going to be within 4 seconds here. Right on his back bumper, Bollinger has closed the gap like nothing, and now looking to the outside. If he can get a run into turn 4, he may have the opportunity to make a move on Tommy Ryan.
They have the move indeed. Looking to the bottom of the dog leg is the 88, that white and blue machine, trying to get up into the black and yellow machine of Tommy Ryan. Here to go for the pass. Lap cars involved. Zach King just up ahead. Zach, remember, a driver who had some really great runs earlier, is now found himself just ahead of the leaders, trying to fight to stay on the lead lap.
3 wide with the lap cars. Ryan trying to make it stick. Davidson backs off wisely. Here comes Bollinger to the bottom. Contact with the 1 to the way inside of the dog leg. More lap traffic coming up on him. Still side by side. Ryan and Bollinger fighting for the race lead. Wright's gone a lap down. Davidson's gone a lap down. Just ahead of them, that's Willard trying to avoid going a lap down. And Bollinger has the lead. Little bit of contact there, though. Ryan's going to try to fight back on the top side as a block side by side now with lap traffic, contact with Zach King, and once again 3 wide.
And boy, what a difference an attitude makes, because hold on, come back to that. Oh, Ryan just doored Ballinger, who doored someone up in the wall, did not catch
it. It was Thornton again. More damage for Justin Thornton.
Boy, when it rains, it pours for poor old Thornton.
And that's Devin Curl coming into the picture, a little bit too throttle happy on the exit of turn 2, but he's part of this as well, getting around the lap car there. Somehow Zachary King is still on the lead lap as Willard goes a lap down. And Thornton is going to have to fix some damage once again. Just rough to see it. But Bollinger on those fresher tires, I think he's going to be able to open up a little bit of a gap here. But Curl is going to be a lot faster. Pelfrey and Hayes are still 2 seconds back, but they're rapidly closing as well.
Yep, 7 laps difference, by the difference between Pelfrey or Ballinger, pardon me, in the top car, and then Tommy Ryan back in P2. So 7 lap tires now paying off. Now they've got a lap car in between them. And so Ballinger's going to try and pull away as fast as he can. Comes down to turn number 1, turn number 2 with about 25 laps to go on the board. And poor Zach King went from the highest to highs last week of winning at Daytona to now trying to find a way back on the lead lap with less than 25 miles to go at Phoenix.
For the moment, he's not in the worst spot. His pace has kept him in the lucky dog position, and there's a pretty decent gap up to Jeff Ryan in the 3 car, the next car that would go a lap down. So for the moment, I think Zach King can let these 2 lead lap cars go and not be in too bad of a position. Caution comes out. He would get back on the lead lap. Right there, Ryan's going to try to get to the bottom. You can see Pelfrey in the picture as well. The blue 31 is sneaking into the back of this one. Meanwhile, nearly an 8/10 second lead for Tommy Ryan. 23 laps to go now.
Oh, and if you're Zach King, you're battling as hard as you can, and you're okay with that. If you're one of these other 2 cars, if you're Ryan or if you're Curl, you're wishing King would move, because every time you're fighting with Zach King, you're slowing yourselves down. And what's happening to that gap up ahead? It's now 1.2 seconds. Last time I looked, there were 3 wide in turns 3 and 4. It's Curl on the bottom. It's Ryan in the middle. It's King up top. They're going to keep it going. Curl, door bangs. They hit again, but all is good, and we stay green. These guys are desperate to get around Zach King.
And Curl has showed he's not afraid to put the bumper to the lap cars right there. Wasn't afraid to put the bumper for position. He has cleared Tommy Ryan, and I think he has a little bit more left than Bollinger. I don't know if it's going to be enough to cut down a 1.5 second lead, but he's certainly going to give it a shot. Now Ryan is holding up Pelfrey. Pelfrey looking to the inside off of turn 4. Here comes River Hayes in this fight as well. I don't think Hayes has enough time to get to the top 2. But Pelfrey all over the bumper of Tommy Ryan after the day that Pelfrey has had. I think whatever way this battle goes, he's going to be happy with it. And sneaking into the 3rd position now for Ryan Pelfrey.
Look at this now, almost 20 laps to go. We're now getting down to the nitty-gritty, get down to the good part of the race. The tires are worn, the drivers are impatient, drivers are tired, the tempers are high, and everything is still possible to happen here with 20 laps to go at Phoenix. It's Colin Bellinger with a 1.7 second lead over Devin Curl. Then it's Ryan Pelfrey, Tommy Ryan, and River Hayes in your top 5. Lots still could happen. It's Merriman, Cooper, Cook, Baum, and Holston in your top 10.
A good recovery from Adam Holston to keep himself inside the top 10. He was, I think, at the back part of the top 15 not too long ago, so good run for Holston. Looks like he's pitted about the same time as everybody else, so he should be pretty good on that front. Trevor Hunt made a big save a while ago, keeping himself in the 12th position, and Michael Wade pit last to lead a lap, so he's actually probably going to be on the charge forward. A couple more spots to gain for the 16. You're looking at River Hayes, though, who pit under yellow from the lead, gave up all of his track position, and was only able to get back up to 5th when the green flag cycle started, and that is where he has stayed. I think he's got a little more pace than Tommy Ryan, trying to run down that 99 machine now, 18 laps to go, but he is over 2 seconds off the lead, where he was earlier in this race. Remember, swept the stages too, so definitely probably the best guy on the day, and he's going to have to settle for a spot here in the back part of the top 5.
Yeah, Hayes really went from the leading in most, I mean, the whole second stage, and part of the first stage, and ever since then, been back in the top 5. And it's hard to say it that way. I mean, top 5 is still a very solid run. It's still, I mean, there's what, 30, 20 some other drivers who'd love to be in the top 5. But when you led most of the night, a top 5 is going to feel a little bit defeating here in this race.
And that's the big difference between Hayes and Pelfrey. Pelfrey was sideways at about the halfway mark of this race. That car was facing backwards, parked at the inside of the dogleg, and he is now fighting for P2 against the best car from stage number 1. So while you've got Hayes probably going to be dissatisfied with anything other than a win, Pelfrey is absolutely going to be satisfied with a 3rd, maybe even a 2nd. Look to the inside here. Momentum could prevail for Curl, but a little bit of a run from Pelfrey there, and if these two get side by side, Bollinger's just going to be able to check out even more. And Ryan and Hayes could get brought back into this battle, so they got to be careful. Don't run side by side for too long. We'll see if Pelfrey uses any contact to facilitate that pass, but he gets the power down corner exit still door to door with 15 laps to go.
15 to go on the board. Nearly side by side. This is a battle right now. This is P2 is Pelfrey. Sorry, become backed up. Really got slow in that corner. Had to back it up and let him go. And now Devin Curl drives away.
I saw some tire smoke coming out the rears of that 31 machine. He had that car sent into the corner. He was planning on pulling a slider on Devin Curl, I think, and Curl gassed it up and got to his right rear. Now you've got overcooked rear tires for Ryan Pelfrey, so he's under fire from Tommy Ryan, who saved enough tire to undo the disadvantage that he was at. He's held off River Hayes. Now he's got a shot to take the third spot. Three-way battle for P3 as Curl sneaks away a little bit. Some breathing room for that number 15 Yahoo machine.
That Yahoo machine is doing a great job. Devin Curl led some laps early, still up in the top 5. But on your screen, it's Pelfrey, it's Ryan, and then I believe it's going to be River Hayes on back. So these drivers right now are battling hard. They're trying to find everything they can here, but they are 3 seconds off the leader. They are pretty far back from ever catching Colin Ballinger.
And Bollinger found himself some clean track as well. He's not worried about anybody else. Meanwhile, right here, you've got a cutthroat battle for 2nd through 5th. They've checked out from Merriman and Cooper about 6 seconds between 5th and 6th. So this battle right here, you can afford to make a couple of mistakes, which I think is what Pelfrey was thinking when he sent it to the inside of Curl. And unfortunately, it cost him that position. So 12 laps to go. Everything's still on the table. You can see a pretty good groove has been worn in here. Entering turn 1 high, kind of running low through the middle of the corner, and then getting the power down off. That's what all 4 of these guys have run. So for the moment, pretty identical lap times, pretty identical gaps between the cars with 11 laps to go.
Getting ready down here to almost the end of the race. 11 laps to go here. Got Colin Ballinger up in the lead, being run down by Devin Curl, but that gap is not moving. That's the problem, Cade. 2.9 seconds for Devin Curl. Curl, of course, that white and purple machine who just got wildly loose out of turn 2. And he is just having a very hard time gaining time. And by the way, tires are not a topic because it's lap 159 for Colin Ballinger. And then that's about when everyone pitted. 160 for Curl, 162 for Pelfrey, 152 for Ryan. So it feels like the tires have all kind of leveled off, and now it's just what can you do with the car you have.
Not much to do here. A little bit of wall contact for River Hayes shows that he is really trying to get the power down. He's been looking at the back bumper of Tommy Ryan for the better part of 25 laps, which as a driver gets incredibly frustrating. He ran him down from about 4 or 5 seconds back, got to the bumper, wasn't able to make the pass happen, and that is just so infuriating. River Hayes now looking to the bottom, but nothing there, not going to have the run. Battle for P2 starting to heat up just a little bit as Pelfrey has cut the gap back down. He's gotten back to the rear bumper of Devin Curl and trying to see now if he can't make that pass. Running out of time to make it happen, though.
Yeah, definitely running out of time. Running out of time both in lap count, running out of time as far as also that gap, because it's increasing now, as you said, to those drivers back. So it's Curl, Pelfrey, and Ryan and Hayes. These drivers are all within 1 second. That's the 4 drivers on your screen. The purple car of Curl, the Pelfrey of the white, red, and blue, the black and yellow of Ryan, and that sort of black base of Hayes are the 4 cars left in the battle. But short of something happening on track, this is Colin Ballinger's race to lose.
Yeah, Bollinger not part of this one. He is looking in the mirror and seeing nothing because he's so far ahead. Meanwhile, Devin Curl's eyes have gone from the windshield to the mirror as he has started to get in that position where if he can just block Ryan Pelfrey for the last 6 or 7 laps, he's going to be able to maintain that position. So he's looking up and driving this car from the rearview mirror. Hayes, meanwhile, sticking it on the bottom, really aggressively back in the throttle, back end hanging out for Tommy Ryan as he gets the power down. And this time by, it is just 5 laps to go. I believe it'll be 6 to go, but still
Yep.
not much left at all.
No, not very little time here. So Hayes now has to make something happen here. Hayes, the back of these cars that are in this battle is Hayes, Ryan, Pelfrey, and Curl. And Hayes is going to just try to outbreak them if he wants to make the move here. Remember, he technically has the newest tires of the group of pitting on lap 162. But again, it's not mattering here in this moment.
And Tommy Ryan did a heck of a job saving, even while in this battle, not overdriving the car, keeping the wheel smooth to make sure that he had enough grip at the end of this race to keep with these guys. That's what's kept him in the 4th position. Now maybe an opportunity to get up there and run down Pelfrey. Pelfrey made a big mistake, and that's got Ryan almost up to the bumper of the 31. The big battle now is once again for P3 as Curl has opened up a little bit of a gap. Pelfrey's in the wall. Ryan all the way to the inside. Contact, and around goes Ryan Pelfrey. More
And
contact with Tommy Ryan, and the caution is out.
No, it's not. There it is. Finally. Finally
With
is
4 laps to go, Colin Bollinger's lead is erased, and everything is possible.
Watch this again. Here's the battle they're having. It's going to be Ryan on the bottom, both in the dog leg. Ryan comes up a little early, gets the back of the 31, and then on for the ride they go. And oh boy, that car may have been broken for Ryan because the way he went back up the hill again struck that in a very, very odd angle. Wow, for Colin Ballinger, this is heartbreaking, isn't it? It's frustrating, it's annoying, it's heartbreaking, it's everything.
He hasn't lost the race yet. I mean, he's still got an opportunity. Come down pit road, put 4 tires on, and leading this field to the green in an overtime restart is going to put him at a huge advantage.
The advantage he had.
Being able to get no, it's not going to be 3.5 seconds, but being able to get a jump in the restart zone, if he can win the race off pit road, this right here is going to be very important. I think if you restart in the 1st position, you win the race, but Bollinger's going to have a flawless pit stop to make that happen.
Was listening to race control for a moment. Sorry for the silence. Was listening to the decision. They're going to put that incident, I believe, on the 99. And that will be the car cited as the cause for that caution. So down pit road, almost everybody is here. And
2 tires for River Hayes, and he's got the lead.
That is wild. That is... let's see what happened here for River Hayes. That's as long as the pit stop as anybody else. He was on the pit road 48 seconds.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that was 4 tires. The timing, look at the timing on the red to your screen. No one's short on stops here, so we'll wait and see. And
Bollinger's taken 2. Morgan Cook has taken 2. So has Aaron Baum. Those much shorter pit stops there in the 9-second bracket. Sorry, I had the name mixed up there.
That's
River
okay.
Hayes did take 4 tires, but he was able to get off pit road in the 3rd spot.
I think this is a wild call. I think this is this is the risk of all risks. Typically 2 tires. Oh boy, at a track tonight, we've seen these cars already kind of have some trouble with the looseness of the race cars. 2 tires doesn't typically tighten up a race car. This is going to get interesting really quick. Let's reset the stage here. Green, white checkers. There is no limit in the Caswell Glass Company O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So we're going to take as many green, white checkers as it takes to solve this. But right now, we'll line up the first one. It's Bollinger, Curl, Hayes, Merriman, and Cook in your top 5. So what's going to happen? Take the green flag. One of 2 things will happen. We're going to take the white flag next, and all bets are off. We're going to be done and race it out. Or we're going to throw the caution for a wreck, and we'll rack them up again and again and again until we're done. What's going to happen? Let's find out. Happy along for the ride. Get ready. Check the pulse. It's going to get really high in a second. Colin Ballinger leads us around, and the green flag is out in overtime. Great jump from the bottom, guys. Predictive. Watch that bottom car, though. Down to the dog leg. And being chased quickly. Uphill. Loose. Ballinger to the wall. Ballinger give up the lead. That's going to be River Hayes to the front. Devin Curl's up top, side by side, dumbing down here. They're trying to get to the white flag. Now Curl's in the wall. Now they're wrecking almost, but they got it saved side by side. Is it Curl? Is it Hayes? Is it someone else? There's River Hayes loose. Now it's Devin Curl to lead. White flag, Kate.
5 wide there. That is Ryan spinning to the bottom. A huge hit for that car. Back up in track. A huge wreck. And Devin Curl has driven away from it all. There's Merriman. That is Hunt spinning. Everybody is crashing outside of the top 15. But up front, Devin Curl's opened it up to 8 car lengths on River Hayes.
This is going to be the end of the race right here. Devin Curl, for the first time this season, without a turn number 4. He'll take the checker flag, and he'll win at Phoenix. It's Curl. It's Hayes. It's Bollinger. Your top 3.
Now, looked to me like Trevor Hunt actually grabbed that third position. Bollinger slipped all the way back.
Oh, you're right.
Something may have happened coming out of turn 4.
It must have. Timing of scoring had been third for a moment, and then I look over again. Wow. Well, now we're going to bring us into the Sofa News victory lane. That's where your winner of Devin Curl is going to celebrate. Let's see a couple things. Devin Curl comes around. So going to get a burnout. I have two questions. One, does he get a good burnout? Two, does Devin Curl know how to get to Victory Road? This is one of the tracks where you can now race or drive there, pardon me. So here's your burnout. Celebrate Devin Curl and enjoy your victory. There's your burnouts. Now let's see if Devin Curl is doing it again. Now if you go right kind of behind Curl here and you drive in between the pit road walls, Cade, I'm pretty sure you can get up to Victory Road here in iRacing at Phoenix and kind of park your car and get some good camera shots.
Well, that's what he's going to want to do. Definitely earned him there. Had the elbows out on that final restart. Restarted outside of row 1, which is not a very good position to restart at all, but to find a way to get the win from that is super impressive. I think we have a look back at it here with the replay.
So this will be the start first. This is what's happened to Bollinger just off here. As I can get here, just back up in the banking and just maybe a bump. He got a bump from River Hayes and to send him up the hill. Devin Curl got a bit of a touch there, and then Devin Curl just pulled away on forward. Now this is the first thing that happens. Now there's about 5 more things going to happen. Watch back to that white and green car of Morgan Cook on back. There's going to be some more calamity. This is coming to the white flag, by the way. They're 4 wide, they're 5 wide, and then it just broke loose. Oh boy, Hollister got to Cook. It never went well for him.
Yeah, there was, I think Cook got checked up on the bottom, and that opened a very small window in the middle. And then that wreck basically happened from turn 4 all the way to turn 1. And you can see at that point, Bollinger had already slipped back to the 6th position, so it was Trevor Hunt that grabbed 3rd. And we'll get the entire results here. Of course, River Hayes coming across the line in 2nd. Michael Wade winds up in P4 with Ryan Pelfrey somehow getting up to 5th after getting spun with about 4 green flag laps to go. Gavin Hinson, Colin Bollinger actually winds up 7th after restarting with the lead, 2 laps to go. Zachary King comes from a lap down to finish 8th. Brad Nelson 9th, and Jeff Ryan rounds out the top 10.
Going to be back into P11. That's where you're going to find Morgan Cook, who we saw in that white and green car. Then it's going to be Brandon Willard, league admin, Reggie Kime, Sean Merriman, and Caleb Hunt back in P15. Aaron Baum, Adam Holston, Bradley Cooper, Zach Davidson, and Douglas Wysocki back in P20.
And rounding out the field here, these last 10 in the 21st position, Joey Beam, Tommy Ryan wound up 22nd, Joshua Thornton 23rd, and then Zach White, McCoy Benke, Justin Miller, Isaac Brock, Joshua Gillen, Devin Lyons, and Chad Allen all had big issues throughout the day. And 2 drivers did not take the green flag, Kyle Hardy and Harold Tucker III.
And that's a look top to bottom at tonight's unofficial results here from the Caswell Glass Company O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. With that said, that's going to transition us into our driver interviews portion of the evening. And let's start with the driver who pulled away with the victory at the last second. Devin Curl started that restart in overtime, not winning, but ended up in the lead quickly. Devin Curl, welcome to the broadcast booth, and what an exciting finish that was.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Definitely exciting. I really wasn't expecting much there. Was just kind of settled into trying to hold on to second through that long green flag run that we had there. And next thing you know, there was a crash behind us, and we had a chance to come down the road and put some tires on. Leader chose 2, and I thought I was in pretty good shape right there. He got a good jump, though, way better than I thought he'd get on old tires, on at least 2 old tires. And then I kind of was, once again, holding on to second, just trying to keep River Hayes behind me. And before you know it, one thing led to another. They were bumping, they were banging, and I came out of the corner first. So,
were you surprised? I was going to say, were you surprised? I'm sure you were surprised what happened in overtime, but I'm sure by 5 to go or 4 to go in the race, you thought that race was kind of just where it was. Were you surprised it was a late race wreck, or were you kind of planning on that?
Oh, definitely surprised. I was kind of just in conserve mode, doing everything I could to hold on to second place or points, and I guess I don't even know what happened. I'll have to go back and watch the replay, but I think third and fourth got together and wrecked. And like I said, next thing I knew, I was coming out of pit road, and the leader had 2 tires, and I had 4, so I was sitting in a good spot. I don't really know what happened going down to turn 1. I'll have to go back and watch that as well with the 81 and the leader, but either way, worked out for me. I didn't have any contact with them, and was able to squeeze on through.
Well, congratulations on the win. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Just my friends and anybody watching, my wife Janelle, and Team Accelerated Motorsports.
There you go with Devin. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you next week in Sin City.
Thank you.
All right, that is Devin Curl comes home with the win, and now I believe that second place in River Hayes has caught up with Cade Corbin.
Hey, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on P2. I know you wanted one more after an absolutely dominant performance, but coming back from pitting under that yellow flag, walk me through what you were thinking when you had to restart all the way back in about 16th with something 80-ish laps to go.
Yeah, I knew I pretty much screwed myself by not pitting when everybody else did, but I made it back up to the top 5. It was pretty fun trying to catch those guys. I was getting really loose there at the end before we had that caution, and I just want to say sorry to Colin, man. I went off onto that GWC and I was right on his tail, and I just didn't expect him to lift so early. I knew he was on 2 tires, but genuinely I didn't know that he was going to lift that early. I'd been braking later than that all night, so I absolutely destroyed him, and then my car was pretty broke there going into 3. I think it was 3, and I couldn't hold the bottom, so I ended up losing. So, but all in all, very good night, good points night, won both stages, so I'm happy with it.
He won both stages, won the pole, and finished second. Really, the only thing missing from the clean sweep was that victory. Do you think there was anything you would have had for Curl there coming to the white flag if you could have stayed a little closer to the bumper?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think if if I hadn't have hit Colin, he was going to wash up being on 2 tires. I would have gotten on the bottom and I would have been gone. Had it not broke my nose, it wouldn't turn. So I think I would have been able to hang right there with him. We probably would have had a photo finish right there, but just wasn't in the cards tonight, but we'll go get him next week.
Well, congratulations again on the P2. Good rebound from Daytona. Before we let you go here, anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you got to thank?
Yeah, I want to shout out Pelfrey, Ryan Pelfrey. He was a competitor tonight. He sponsors a lot of my cars, as well as Cody Smith and all them people back at the shop. So, yeah, that'll be all for me.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, that will wrap up our interview there with River Hayes. Now to bring it back down to P3. The driver who finished P3 in a very chaotic restart process was Trevor Hunt in that 59 machine. And Trevor, I think maybe you're even surprised you were in P3 coming to where you started in that green-white checker.
Yeah, that was just I walked ass backwards into that one. That restart was crazy, and then they started wrecking in front of me, and it looked. I think I got hit by 2-3 cars as I was like diving down to the exit of pit road to avoid it all, and shy out of that. And with this being my first race back, I think I ran Martinsville at the end of last season. And then prior to that, I hadn't run like a year outside of like the Daytona 24. I can't say I'm not happy about that finish.
Yeah, it's a great finish, I would say overall. Well, next week, we're up to a 1.5 mile track at Vegas. Are you going to be there? And if so, what's your outlook for it?
I'll be there. I expect that track to be extremely loose off of 4, and I think we're going to have to wheel it just based off of what I've been seeing in some of the other Vegas races I've seen in other leagues.
All right. Well, listen, it was always a pleasure watching your race. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say hello to?
No, my wife, Hope, and Tommy and Jeff Ryan, my teammates. We'll I think hopefully as this season goes along, we'll get me a little more competitive as far as in race, but it won't take long.
All right. Well, listen, it's a pleasure watching your race. Good job tonight, and good luck next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That is Trevor Hunt, and that will wrap up our podium interviews for this evening. Kane, as we wrap up the broadcast now, any last thoughts on the race?
I think it was it put on a great show. We saw a little bit of attrition there kind of towards the beginning of the race, but once it got sorted out, we saw some great long green flag runs. This may be the first time on GFTV that I've ever gotten to call a green flag pit stop cycle on an oval track. So huge props to these guys out there. I mean, I usually get called up for super speedway and short track races, but to get a nice long green flag run, but still get an exciting finish. I had a lot of fun in this race. Probably an 8 out of 10, an 8 on the groovy gauge if people know what that's from. But fantastic race, great stuff to watch, and I'm happy that I could come up here in the booth for it.
We're happy you were here as well. We're happy all of you were here for tonight's broadcast. But stick around. Don't close your browser tab because we're going to take you right over to the Speed Cup Series. They're currently doing their Daytona duels. That's Nolan Ripple, Brad Daniels up on the call. They're right now in the middle, I believe, of heat number 2. 7 to go. So stick around for that. Once again, congrats to our race winner, for Derek Watson, for Howie Burrows, for Cade Corbin. So long and good night from Phoenix.